is the original Rude Boy, David Levy, reminding you to join me each and every Saturday from 7 p.m. to 10 inside the ballroom. And then come Sunday is the number one Caribbean show in the world, Caribbean Fever, with its brand new time, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. right here at 107.5 WBLS.
Wendy, man. The Wendy Williams Experience.
And now we're pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
What your ears are about to witness, the greatest queen of all time. Okay, party people in the house.
Turn it up, yo. Turn it up. This is it. Allow me to reintroduce this
Queen from west to east. Just better get it right. Y'all know the name. Wendy Williams. Been in this game for a while. I hate the flag.
Ain't nobody.
It is phenomenal.
Like the queen.
Right here.
Who the world is this? So much drama.
From yo block to yo block, heard of the number one female. Been doing this for years.
Every barbershop, beauty salon.
Who the world is this? So much business.
Again and again. Wendy Williams, bringing your name up. A lot of you haters scared to death.
She at it again.
Wendy Williams.
She in it the way.
Wendy Williams.
She back and she staying.
Wendy Williams.
The ain't playing. I like to present you. The winner of the Game Show of the Year award.
Once again.
Introducing the queen.
It's Friday, good to go. The weather's beautiful. Spring is sprung. Well, almost. We can imagine, right? Okay. Coming up on the show today, gossip. Plus, we've got Advice Hour, where I take some of your problems and try to help you find a solution. Make that a snafu, okay? Please, no full-blown explosions. Plus, the Hour of Truth, we continue to gossip, and we're going to talk today about Ruben, Kimora, Oprah, Jennifer, and Puffy. Keep it where you got it. Thank you for making this your choice. It is what it is, people. It's the Wendy Williams Experience.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor and distinction that I introduce to you the queen of all media, Wendy Williams.
Hey, everybody. It's the Wendy Williams Experience. Welcome, everybody. Oh, the weekend is here. I'm exhausted. I'm going to Maryland tomorrow. My radio station, Power 99 in Philly, where I'm number one in the afternoons. Thank you, Philly. I love you for that. Well, we're having our bangin' ski weekend all weekend long. And so tomorrow, the ski weekend isn't going on in Philly. It's not going on in upstate New York either. I remember it happened in Syracuse a few years ago. But this year, I didn't know there was good skiing in Maryland. Apparently there is. I don't know nothing about no skiing, though. Anything dangerous like that I didn't learn to do and perfect when I was like 16, 17, when my bones could break and heal, I'm not trying to do now. I'm a woman of a certain age. And too many risks involved. I'm already fighting osteoporosis. I don't have it. I don't have weak bones. Do you take Viactive every day, girls, or do you drink actual milk? Like, what do you do for your calcium? Gotta start doing something now. You see those old ladies all hunched over, your great-grandmother falls down and her bones are brittle, she breaks a hip and stuff. That's lack of calcium. I take the Viactive Chews. I buy them over at the CVS, and I take them. They're like candy. My son is always asking me for them. He's seeing me having a good time, just like it's cud. I don't know. I didn't used to always do all that stuff, lack of everything. But then, after I had the baby, all of a sudden I start, like I use the collagen replacement on my laugh lines. I take my calcium. I'm a mega woman from the GNC. All that stuff. I'm just grateful I made it this far. without any major incidents. Anyway, I'm feeling splendiferous today. I'm featuring J-Lo. You guys like my outfit?
Nice.
I
Very
would let
nice.
you touch the quality of the velour. Here, touch at my elbow. Look, you feel that?
Very soft.
Very thick. It's very, very thick. And I'll tell you what, I'm wearing light blue velour two-piece today by J-Lo, which I just got yesterday. I like it a lot. And when I looked in the rear view, I noticed that I did not see the 3 prominent dimples that normally are very prominent in anything other than black or denim in my behind. That's the mark of good velour, when the dimples are hidden. It's not cheap. I like this.
Is it warm?
Yeah, I mean, it feels good. And look, she's changed her charm. It no longer says J-Lo on the tag. If there's a heart and 2 fake diamonds, and then very small, it says J-Lo. I like it. I think that they charge in the store $49 for the top and maybe $54 for the bottoms or something. But you want to know what? I would pay that. This is the same quality. At least it feels to me. I got juicy velours. This feels like the same quality as a juicy velour, except it's not $195. You know what I mean? I like that. And I got 2 in pink, 1 in real bright pink and 1 in the soft pink, and then the light blue. I'm traveling today, right after the show. Me and the Kevins were going to South Carolina. I got to host a party there tonight. Hey, everybody down there listening. At Hot 103.9. I'll be down there tonight. But this is good travel, with the baby and stuff. Why do I call him a baby? He's like a grown man. Jennifer Lopez is really shining now. She's got that new CD out, The Rebirth. And her clothing line she's promoting, and she's been every place. And what they're saying now is all of a sudden, all that control mess that she and Mark were going through, like for their 1-minute courtship and then their 2-minute marriage, he was very controlling in the beginning. Well, on February 22nd, he was in Madrid, Spain, performing a concert to the countrymen. And it turned hostile part of the way through. People started to boo Mark Anthony. Why did they start to boo him? Because they expected to see Jennifer Lopez come out on stage. At the very least, give him a kiss and a hug. At the most, do a duet. Do a song together. They didn't see J-Lo. They started booing Mark. How do you feel when you're Mark Anthony? Do you feel like going home and backhanding her across the room? You are more popular than me. Put on some more clothes. Don't promote your CD. Don't do the... he's controlling like that, so they say. Well, there's always a loudmouth family member speaking out. Well, a loudmouth family member spoke to my friends over at Life and Style Weekly magazine, one of my favorite new mags. As a matter of fact, it is my favorite. I like Life and Style better than I like In Touch, but I like In Touch second. And then everything else falls in place. People magazine always being last. So the family friend is speaking out, the Jennifer Lopez family friend, saying that, they are locked in a power struggle. He's a control freak. She split with Benny Medina. It's been 2 years now. There was a buzz that she was going to get back together with Benny Medina. That's not going to happen because Benny is, of course, managing Mariah Carey's career. And that's a problem. Although you could say that was a problem for Brandy signing up because Benny, Brandy, Mariah, like that. But apparently he's left Brandy on the side of the road. You know what I'm saying? She's done. Mariah, we'll just have to wait and see when your CD comes out what all happens. I don't know what to make of Jennifer Lopez, except she seems to be doing fine without Benny Medina. And if I were her, I wouldn't want to be in a management camp where a whole bunch of, super, I don't want to say diva, but you know what I'm saying? A whole bunch of girls in my class range, of which there's not a whole bunch. Jennifer, Mariah, same status as far as I'm concerned. They're both talented in their own little ways. They both ring bells in their own little ways. Brandy, I don't know why Brandy would have wanted to sign with Benny, because nobody's paying attention to that. Not when Mariah's struggling. And if I were Benny, I'd pour all my attention to Mariah. I wouldn't be thinking about Brandy. I mean, I take her money.
Jennifer's more time consuming.
Yeah, Jennifer is time consuming, but you know what? Mariah is just as time consuming. And neither one has a mother involved in their career. You know, Benny now has to deal with Sonia Norwood. You know what I mean? So that's a 50-50 struggle right there. I wouldn't want any of that crap. Anyway, Jen, for what it's worth, I'm loving the quality of the material of your velours. And everything that I grabbed from Jennifer's showroom yesterday was too big except for the velours. You ever do that when you hold clothes up? You still judge yourself as being bigger than you are? I do that all the time because in my mind, even though I'm smaller today than I've ever been in my life, and I feel physically better and look physically better than any other time in my life, in my mind, I will always be a fat girl. I am always just one chicken liver and bacon wrap away from a full-blown explosion. I have fat thoughts. When I look at clothes and I hold them up, it never fails that I always have to come home and then, do I feel like taking this back to the store or do I want to take it in at the waist? You know, I got bags of clothes home from Jennifer Lopez. Nothing fits except for the crocheted tops. The tops fit. But I'm not saying like I got jeans. The Brazilian jeans like she wore down the runway, the white ones, I got them in black. They're too big. Everything's too big. So do I feel like going over there and returning them? No, I tried them on with no panties. I'll be forthright. You know what I'm saying? I tried them on with no panties because I didn't want a panty line. You know, it was the end of the day. You know, take off the slingshot. You know, put that in the hamper. You know, the thong. So I don't know what I'm going to do with the clothes. I can't wear them. Everything is too big, sweet face. Jennifer. I'll be back next week. I want all smaller sizes. I don't wear a size 13 junior. I'm going for the size 9.
Uh-oh.
Why was I thinking I was a size 13?
Fat thoughts.
Fat thoughts. Fat thoughts. I like it, though, those fat thoughts. They keep you grounded. You know what I mean? They keep you, because you are what you are and you know what you are. You can sugarcoat it, you can dress it up, you can do whatever, but you are what you are. If you're ghetto, your hood, your streetness is going to show 50. No matter how much money, no matter how many kings, queens, and princes you perform for, you know what I'm saying? You ain't nothing but a... And that's real. You act like nothing but a... And I ain't nothing but a fatty. I like it. I'm comfortable with that. Those are real thoughts. Martha's home.
Oh.
Did you see her hair? Crap. Did you see her waistline? You couldn't really see. She had a poncho on. Did you see her legs? Man, I'll tell you what. 5 years in jail has done her well. Or 5 weeks. Or 5 months. Her daughter, who, by the way, looks like a lesbian at this particular point.
How you doing?
You know, Alexis used to be so, and shout out to all the lesbians. I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean it looks like she's walking on the other side now. You know, Alexis was married at one point. You know, she came off as a hetero woman. Although, what does that mean? Shout out to all the lipstick lesbians. Many of you all come off more feminine than hetero women. Scratch my thoughts. Let's just get back to Martha. Leave the lesbian talk out. How you doing? Alexis has got a chopped up haircut. She never wears makeup anymore. Martha looked smaller than her. Alexis, what's happening? What's happening? She's got bee-stung lips, second calling to Macaulay Culkin. And I remember she had the long tousled, her hair came down like to the middle of her back. Just a sexy thing. You know, I would look at her and I would say, this is when she and Martha were fighting. Why doesn't Martha embrace her daughter? They only got each other. This was years ago, you know, before all the trouble started. I've been following Martha Stewart for years. Alexis, stop trying to rebel against everything that your mother set up for you. She set you up, girl. Nice. And now, you know, it took this trouble. You know, if one good thing has come out of it, Alexis and Martha. Art, can you move the microphone down, please? Your microphone. Why are you trying to block me?
I'm not trying to block
Well,
you.
why is it that I got to crane my neck to make eye contact
Makes it work harder.
with you? Yeah. Anyway, I'm so hungry.
Yeah,
See? Fat
baby.
thoughts.
Yes.
I'm not even thinking about picking up a damn carrot stick. You know what the first thing I thought of? Egg salad with double scoops of Miracle Whip.
Shut up.
See? Who's with me?
I'm with you.
I would go downstairs and ask somebody to get me a Starbucks egg salad, but they don't put enough Miracle Whip in it. See the fat ass that I am? And I don't want low fats, and I don't want, light dressing. I'm going to tell you what I want. I want double heap of Miracle Whip.
The ghetto mayonnaise.
That's right. And when I bite into it, I want the Miracle Whip to squish in the corners of my mouth like Saturday night after midnight. Girls, you know that look.
Low cholesterol.
All right. But you know what? I get that checked, and as soon as the doctor tells me I have good cholesterol, I immediately go out and I eat shrimp, chicken livers, and lots of Miracle Whip.
Yeah.
And I love salt. Art, you know that.
Yes.
I always, everything double salted. Isn't that terrible?
Low high blood pressure.
Yes. I am a fat ass in my mind. I don't even want the egg salad on white bread or wheat bread. I want it on thick, homemade bakery bread.
Oh, Lord.
Like 2 inches thick with the crust cut off.
Yes.
Damn, food is a never-ending battle. It is. Let's get back to Martha Stewart. So, her daughter went to the federal prison there in West Virginia to pick her up. I saw the pictures on the news. Her hair, beautiful. Because Alexis, her daughter, arranged for her hairstylist, Frederick Fakai, stylist to the stars, to fly in for a pre-prison release coloring and consultation. This woman's hair looked healthy. Her body looked right. She's already hired the head chef at the famed restaurant here in New York, Le Cirque 2000, to cook for her 5 months of house arrest. Plus, she's working on The Apprentice, Martha Stewart. This only happens in America to white people.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. That's
Little
it.
Kim, you still in the hood now, baby. Oh, they caught the trigger man. Did you see that on the news? Outside of Shot 97? And plus, the guy yesterday we talked about who got arrested from the G Unit at 106 in Park, he had a knife. He had a knife on his person.
Nice.
Yeah. The story is unfolding. Everything is going on. Keep it where you got it. You're in the hood now, baby. It is what it is.
It's Wendy, man.
Hey, Wendy.
Hi.
My boyfriend gave himself a wet smoothie or whatever. He said he almost burnt his off.
The Wendy Williams Experience.
Yes, it's the Wendy Williams Experience. Glad to be here today. Desperate Housewives this weekend. Do you know that Eva Longoria on the show refuses to wear free dresses by certain designers because they didn't look out for her back in the day when she was an unknown actress? I love that kind of behavior. I love it. You know what I mean? When you're on the come up and people who have the ability to do or whatever, they just kind of crap all over you. Well, now there are a lot of designers that are giving her stuff, begging her to wear things on red carpets, out to dinner. Hell, just wear my free stuff to the Walmart, carry my handbags and stuff. And she refuses. And here's her quote. There are a lot of designers I don't wear because they were so mean to me when I was nobody. It's like Pretty Woman. They were like, who are you? We're not dressing you. Now everybody's sending stuff. All the freebies are insane. I feel so bad about taking them. I was on another show before Desperate Housewives, and we couldn't even get free donuts. I like that. Do you know who didn't take freebies at the Oscar? My girl, Oprah. Love it. You want to know what her quote is? Hold on, I have it in my notes. Art, don't move. I see you're about to walk out of the room. I got to talk to you about Puffy's mom.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, hold on. So here's Oprah's quote. So she's at the Oscars. There's a whole room set up with the free gifts. Oprah says, here's her quote, I really don't need anything. She says, this is my first pair of real pearl earrings. I've been wearing clip-ons the whole time. Oh, yeah, because she just got her ears pierced, so, But the earrings, she spent $9,900 on. She buys her stuff. She just walked past the free gift room. Do you know what was popping off in the free gift room at the Oscars? Oprah's eyelashes alone cost $150,000 to make her eyes look fabulous. Yeah, well, listen, because they're made of real mink. Take that, J-Lo. You know Oprah took a cue from you, Jen, because back when you were wearing the Fox eyelashes, Oprah was still a fatty and wasn't really, paying as much attention. Now she's all glammed up. But she gets them. She recently ordered, they say, 150 pairs of these eyelashes. And apparently They're $1,000 by special request. Oh, she ordered 150 pairs. So that's $150,000 worth of eyelashes. I wonder what that feels like. Mink. Shout out to my furrier, Demetrio Furs. Do you guys think you can make me some chinchilla eyelashes? Listen, they can do it all. They can do it all. They made that Smurf costume on the show that you guys made fun of. They make my first custom. Because you know why? Because I'm a long gangly. I got, the long arms and everything. Everything looks really young on me. I don't get custom because I'm a diva. I'd love to buy off the rack, but I can't. For most things. Hey, Demetrio, do you think you can fashion me some chinchilla eyelashes? Let's see. Jen had fox. Oprah has mink. I'll take chinchilla. Yes. Shout out to Demetrio Furs. I bet you they can do it. Look, is Janice Combs Puffy's father? Mother. That's the question that I have.
That's the question that we all have.
I've had, listen, Oprah, furthest thing from Artie. You and I have had this conversation before, and I was having this conversation with some people in the know last night.
Oh.
And I do have to say, their response and their reaction towards Janice and Puffy's relationship is the exact thing that you and I were talking about, which is that this is a story. I'm not saying that this is true. Janice is alleged to not be Puffy's biological mom. Puffy's biological mom is, unknown, somewhere in the abyss, whatever. Janice was one of Puffy's late pops who was, a player, hustler. You know what that lifestyle goes with, lots of broads around. And that just happened to be his best ride or die broad. I guess much like the Richard Pryor household. You remember how Richard was raised with a lot going on. You know the story. So this was the best ride or die broad. So you know how that goes. You refer to her as mom, and that's the way it is. Mm-hmm. Then I look at them and I'm like, do I see a similarity? It's hard to tell because everything about Janice Combs is a costume. Hey, Miss Combs, no disrespect. I love your look on somebody else's mother. I would croak if that was my mom doing it. The blue contacts, the blonde hair, I can't really tell. I can't really see. And yeah, we've seen pictures of Puffy when he was young in the fur coat, all pimped out as a 5-year-old. We all know the picture. And yes, Janice was there as well, all pimped out. But let's keep in mind, you know what I'm saying, how a hustler's life is. You know what I'm saying? And how a hustler do. And how there's always a lot of bitches around.
There's always one main one.
Yes, Art, lean up to the microphone and convey what your cipher has been talking about for years.
My cipher has two theories on Puffy's biological mother that she passed years ago.
And sidebar, these are the things that we're forced to talk about without Puffy because he won't be coming to the show anytime soon. Not that I've gotten word one way or the other, but my assumption is that he's not coming. And I've fallen back, you know what I'm saying, much to my suckery. Falling back, but you know what? This show will rock with or without interviews from any celebrities.
Right.
And so now I need to really start, and damn you all for not encouraging me to continue to talk regardless of who wants to come to the show and who doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Puff, with or without you, I need to rock. And I was saving this little bit of grease for you to come up here. But since that's not going to be happening anytime soon. And by the way, people are talking about your band show. They hate it as much as you. Look, let's get back, though, to Janice Combs.
Well, to make it very brief, the theory is that either Janice Combs is old man's main broad from back in the day, or his biological mother's sister. So actually an aunt. Now, Puffy, this is something that I heard, so don't hit me with a champagne bottle, like you did Steve
He's
Stout.
not going to get that close to anybody in this show to do anything like that. He's as fearful now as he was a decade ago. I would say he's as busy now, but you know what? With all the partying and stuff going on, you ain't that busy, motherfather.
Ooh.
So we will continue to talk. Your thoughts, 1-800-866-GET-WENDY. We should change that to Get Puffy.
Uh-oh.
No, he didn't do anything to me overnight to make me start talking like this. But you know what? I'd gotten a phone call last night while I was in my slumber from somebody who said, "Did you see Making of the Band?" I said, "No." Oh, it's the worst. Make sure you talk about it on your show tomorrow. It's the worst. It's the worst. It's the worst. I don't catch stuff like that until the weekend.
There's no black chicks.
There's no black chicks. Well, you know, black women are a lot of trouble, as Puffy's learned. Through his father, through his jump-offs, through his baby's moms. You know. What are they, all white?
Mixed.
What does that mean? The Asian, Puerto Rican,
maybe some
biracial?
black, but not 100% African American.
Are they all cute?
Oh yeah. And talentless.
Well,
But they look good.
well, and that's what's important, I guess. Advice Hour's coming up next hour, everybody. Fax in, call. Thanks.
Wendy, man.
So I called you like 3 weeks ago about me and my boy had a threesome and how he touched my butt. He came to me saying that he really want to have sex with me.
Well, you should have known that when he touched your butt.
The Wendy Williams Experience. Everybody needs some.
Should I leave? Like, is that selfish to my son?
Come get some.
Let me tell you, Wendy, it's really a trouble with a dude.
Advice Hour.
I'm having a problem with my fiance and his family.
I was in a relationship with this girl for like 18 months. She told me the relationship meant nothing.
Always drama.
Call Wendy right now. 1-866-GET-WENDY. Fax Wendy at 866-WENDY-FAX.
Wendy, can you give me advice on plastic surgery?
What kind of show is this anyway? Different. How different?
Impactful. Cutting edge.
Let's take this form, this very American tradition of entertainment into the 21st century, the new millennium. Okay, no. What's the name of the show?
The Experience.
I really like this. You know how I know? I'm getting a boner.
Have you lost your mind? Do you know how much mail we will get?
There's no such thing as bad publicity.
The content of the show, it's just politically incorrect.
Exactly. Who are the characters? You got characters developed? We have three-dimensional characters. What do you got? How about
Pocono Dave.
Oh, here we go, dealing with these Negroes again.
Artie, life of the party.
Your eyes are closed, a mouth is a mouth, a toe is a toe, and a booty is a booty.
This is gonna be crazy. We're gonna hit it with the bomb diggity on this one. No, we're gonna get to star in the show because we need a star to carry the show.
The queen of all media, Wendy Williams, baby. Folks will be outraged.
The Wendy Williams Experience.
Seduced by the Sausage. The title of Art's forthcoming book.
This it right here.
Miss a day, miss a whole lot.
Coming through your speakers, boy.
It's Wendy, man. Yo, did you catch this flashback?
Artie, you tell Miss Wendy, you're not going to run me out of town. I'm staying right here in Philadelphia, and you need to respect that. It was an embarrassment to me. And just because you're a freak, you don't have to let the whole world know it. My church friends are even listening to it now. You need to get that crap together and do what you got to do. I can understand it's your job and all that, but you have to go into detail about all that freaky stuff. How you doing? End of message.
This it right here.
Miss a day, miss a whole lot.
Coming through your speakers, boy.
It's Wendy, man.
Yes, it's the Wendy Williams Experience, everybody, and it is Advice Hour, Music Maestro. Dear Wendy, please help me. I'm 31 years old. I'm a well-educated woman with a good-paying job and a great life. My husband and I have been married for 4 years. He's 33. He's also educated with a well-paying job. And since we met, I told him I have no desire to have children. Wendy, I told him this back when we were dating, and now we're married. 4 years we've been married. I've been totally honest with my husband since the very beginning, Wendy, and he's always co-signed with us not having kids. But Wendy, 4 years deep into the marriage, for the past 6 months, he's been pressuring me to have a baby. He has even threatened me with divorce if I don't get pregnant. Wendy, I don't want kids. I never have. I love my husband with every ounce of my being. I am not willing to have a child. He thinks that something happened to me in my childhood or that I was traumatized earlier in life. But that's not the case. Wendy, I was never molested. I was never raped. I was never abused. In fact, I had a very happy childhood, and I was raised by loving parents. Wendy, we had always talked about our lives and how we can do without kids, and now he's changed full circle. I don't want a divorce, but this is driving us apart. What should I do? Sign childless and loving it. Wow. A 31-year-old well-educated woman with a great job clearly knows what she wants out of life. He's 33. He clearly got the memo when they first started dating. I applaud you for being honest, because so many people, men and women, are not honest about major things in life, like having kids or not. So you were honest. You guys got married. For 4 years, it's been great. For the past 6 months, he's had that yearning thing. Okay, well, here are the alternatives. You go on and have a child that you don't want to have, and then you're a miserable woman. Not. You allow him to produce a child outside of your marriage.
Oh.
That will spell immediate divorce. Your emotions, your soft pink side might let you stay with him through gestation because the child is not here. But once that child... Your other alternative, and the most dramatic one, but the one that needs to be exercised, divorce. Bail. You're not going to stay and be beaten over the head. There is nothing wrong with not wanting children. And I appreciate you including in your facts that you weren't molested, raped, or abused, because I would have also probably said, well, did something traumatic happen? I need more information. This is the perfect facts. It takes up a half a page, and she spells everything out. Clearly a woman who knows what she wants out of life. You might not want a divorce, but that's what you need. I mean, you say what? I mean, Art, what do you say?
I said he can get past that, though.
He wants a baby. You know how that thing settles into men. He's 33. You know what I'm saying? He's, looking at, other friends of his who have kids in sensible situations. I'm not talking about, they had a kid when they were 17. Now they're going through baby mama drama. Because not all situations are like that. There are some situations where, they might have other married friends and their friends have kids and they're seeing, look, man, I'm busy. It's family day today. Me and the wife and the kids, we're going over, to the Pancake House for breakfast. We're going over to the mall afterwards, and then we're stopping at Toys R Us. The kid has been really good. He hasn't been wetting the bed. We're going to buy him some race car tracks. Nice. Doesn't that tug on a man's heart?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a man, but I can imagine men, too, have that soft pink side. And he was in denial of it because he was young, but now he's grown into his manhood. He, too, as she says here, is well-educated and well-paid in his job. I guess he's looking at it now like there's but so much lavishing that we can do on each other. There are but so many toys that we can buy. You can get every Benz in the line of Benzes, and every rim, and every diamond in the store. And you can go on every vacation to exotic places across the world. But if you want a kid, no kind of buying, no kind of money earning can replace that. None. You didn't add this in, though. Is it that you don't want to mess up your body? Because kids tend to do that? Because if that's not the case, then have you thought of adoption? Okay, no. Let me just stick to the plan. She does not want children, period. And she doesn't want a divorce. So let me just get to the bottom of this and just answer the question that she's asked. What should I do? Start talking about divorce? Because I'm telling you something right now. If I were you, I wouldn't be able to sit and put up with that crap. You put up with it for 6 months. Him trying to get you pregnant. Him talking about it and badgering you. I'm not putting up with it. Especially because it's something. This is not even a problem that you're working on. Like, you need to lose some weight. Shout out to all the women who have to deal with that crap. But at least there's something you can do about that.
Does it make you wonder if she really loves him?
No. Having children has nothing to do with the love of your boyfriend who becomes your husband. You know what I'm saying? The kids are over there, and your love for your man or your woman is right here. This has nothing to do with lack of love. She even says in her facts, and thank you so much for being so concise. This is a well thought out woman. She says, here's her quote: "I don't want any kids, and I never have. I love my husband with every ounce of my being." Poor girl. Poor girl. As a woman, I couldn't put up with that, though.
And as a man, he should move on as well.
Yes.
I mean, let's look at the man side of it. If I was a man and I heard that, I've got to move on.
Yeah.
I really do, because I do want kids.
Yeah.
And I do want that moment, that pancake moment and all that.
Would you try to explore the possibility of impregnating another woman with your wife's consent? Because, see, to me, when that conversation gets brought up, now I want a divorce anyway. Because now we're not only exploring children, we're exploring a lifetime jump off. And a whole nother household.
I don't want that either.
Exactly.
She doesn't want kids, though.
She doesn't want kids.
Then it's
Whether
time
she's pregnant or not, she just don't want kids.
But she doesn't want kids. But if he got another woman pregnant, then that kid would stay over there. And then he'd visit his other family. And
but it's not the same. That's crazy.
It is. It's crazy. Well, one of you needs to be a man about it and ask for a divorce. And it is hard, but that's reality. The reality is you talked about this when you were dating. And he knew about this. And for 4 years, they've been married and happy. For 6 months, she's been getting the mad pressure. Listen, he says, he has even threatened me with divorce if I don't get pregnant. Ooh. So I would, you know what? I would take his threat for real, and I'd turn around and serve him. That's all. That's all. I'm sorry. That is a very sad situation. Dear Wendy, my 9-year-old son wants his ear pierced. He's a good boy with good grades. Is he too young? Yes. Yeah. Don't acquiesce to that. You know, tell him when he gets 13. What is that, a freshman in high school?
No, 14.
8th grade.
14, whatever. High school. Freshman in high school, he gets his ear pierced. God, the times in which we live. Hello?
Hello, yes, Wendy?
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I'm calling to ask you about hair weave.
Uh-huh.
And I would like to know, do you know any places where you can recommend me to go to about hair weave? Similar like yours.
Well, I don't have a weave. My puny little natural hair will not take it. If it could, believe me, I'd be the weave queen. However, I do know a man who does fabulous weaves at the salon that I go to. His name is Steve Lindsay.
Steve?
Lindsay.
Okay.
And the salon is called Salon Santa Cruz. And it's on Madison Avenue. And so you can call directory assistance and get the telephone number. And I thank you for calling. Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you, Wendy?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I need advice.
Okay.
Okay, I'm talking to this guy. I'm 25 and he's 27.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been really good friends for about a year. So recently it's been escalating into something else.
Nice.
And everything is fine about him. I mean, I come from a string of very bad relationships, so I know to appreciate a good guy when I get one.
Right.
He's a very good guy, whatever. There's only one problem. He has a very, very small,
Okay.
And I don't know if I'm being shallow about the whole situation, but it's like not even workable.
At 25, you shouldn't have to settle.
You think, right?
And before you fall in love, you should just let him down easily.
But I'm already like head over heels over him. I really, really like him.
Yeah, but you're not in love with him.
No, I'm not in love with him.
Okay, so you have to decide what's important to you. In my opinion, a 25-year-old woman shouldn't have to settle for anything she doesn't want to.
But okay,
not a small penis, not babies in a relationship,
and they've been problems. I've had all that other stuff, and there's been problems.
Okay.
So I'm like, maybe I'm just looking for the wrong thing before. I was looking for the wrong thing, and now that I've had a good thing, I'm like, does that really matter?
Are you good at self-pleasure?
Not really, no. I don't really know,
okay,
to be honest.
So then it sounds like you're settling. I mean, it's only a piece of meat, and so many women put so much on it. I think if more women took their own sexuality, and men too, if you took your sexuality into your own hands, then you wouldn't have to worry about so much what's between his legs.
Exactly.
So, but since you don't know how to take your own sexuality in your own hands, I mean, I asked you if you're good at it, and you said, you know, I mean, either get better at it or else you might want to think about moving on. I mean, it's important enough that you called here to ask me whether it's important. Personally speaking, I feel like, you know, any woman who knows how to self-pleasure, you know, has her own sexuality in her own hands. But at 25 years old, I think that's really young to start settling.
So it's not shallow.
At 35, it would be shallow. At 25, it's not. At 35 with 3 kids, it might be a little shallow. At 25
with no kids,
totally free. Look, that's on you. I mean, you know, I don't know the guy. I don't know you. I don't know what you look like or what your background is or anything like that.
I mean, I know I'm a good-looking female, and, you know, like I said, I've come across other situations, but like I said, they turned out to be bad. And
well, you know what? I would learn how to perhaps be a better self-pleasurer, and also, just because it's small doesn't mean he doesn't know how to work it.
And I'm sure he does, but I hate when people say that, because it's like, I don't know about you, girl, but I want the Titanic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, yeah, okay, he can work it, but if there's nothing there to work, what is it really doing for me?
Well, I'll be honest with you, okay? My girlfriends who put a lot, and you know, I'm a grown woman, and my girlfriends are grown women too. We're all the same age. And the ones who put so much on that right there are as single and as miserable as they want to be.
Exactly.
Okay, so you'll have to decide what's important to you in life.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you, Wendy.
It's Wendy, man.
Ex-boyfriend, he wants to fight me.
How old is everybody?
I'm 43. She's 38. And he's 40.
The Wendy Williams Experience.
It's the Wendy Williams Experience. Hi, everybody. If you're just turning us on, well, welcome to the show. Look, I'll take any part of your day that you could possibly spare for this show. In radio, there's something called TSL, and the bosses look at that. That's time spent listening. The TSL for this show has gone up crazy. It's always been pretty good, you know, where you guys, you know, listen longer. You know, individually, you listen longer. But I realize, look, this show comes on at a weird time. People are busy doing things. You're running back and forth to the copy machine. You're in and out of your car. You're vacuuming, whatever you do in your lives during the day. So whenever you come back to the radio, whatever part of your day you can spare for this show, I am eternally grateful. And shout out to everybody in South Carolina. Don't forget, it's on and popping tonight downtown at the South Trust Building. I'm not going to butcher the names of the street, but I will just say Gervais. Did I get it right, everybody? Gervais and Assembly Streets. It's the place to be. It's First Fridays, and it kicks off tonight, but it's going on every Friday. But I won't be down there every Friday. I'll be, you know, down there tonight, and maybe I'll, you know, do it again a few weeks from now or something. But I'm wearing jeans, and I'm going to roll them at the cuff. I already called my mother-in-law who lives in South Carolina. She says it's chilly like winter. It'll be like 30 degrees when we go out tonight. I got a pedicure yesterday thinking I'd be able to wear. I found these sexy new mules, you know, like candies type mules. And they actually fit. And so I got them in 7 colors. So now I don't have to go shopping for the rest of the, you know, because I love a mule. I hate straps, you know, because my foot fat bubbles out once my feet get swollen after being on them. You know what I mean? And I actually picked them up, block your ears, in a size 13.
Oh,
I needed.
It woke me up.
Shaq.
I needed the width, and yet and still, oftentimes for we Bigfoot girls, you know we have a problem because they think the bigger the foot, the bigger the body. So we can't balance our weight on 4-inch spindly heels. So then the heel is all chunky. It looks like a damn Rockport shoe. You know, I want to keep it popping. I don't want a Rockport shoe. I want something sexy, but I need it in a size 11 or 12 or 13. Because I don't want any, you know, when you slip your foot into a mule, that's just, you're a footnista. You know what that is. Yes. There's only one piece of material holding your toes down. There's nothing in the back. It's flopping like a flip-flop. Any type of foot that hangs over the back looks terrible to a footnista, right?
You can trip.
And you can trip. but also it looks terrible. It looks like you're buying shoes that don't fit. Also, as your feet swell, that one little piece of material that's holding your toes down, your feet swell around that.
Yeah.
That doesn't look good.
No.
So a size 13
It's comfortable.
is comfortable. I got about a half an inch or an inch off the back. You could literally sit a cup of Starbucks on the back of the mule. Excuse me, but the width is great. I wore them around the house just to see what's it doing. You know, you'd have to test drive your shoes. I bought one pair, wore them around the house the other day. Loved them. Went back to the shoe store and picked up 6 more pair.
Flavors.
So, I got them in pink. I got them in black, patent leather, and leather. I got them in white. I got them in gold. You know, the bronzy's good for the season. And I got, by the way, I think I'm supposed to be doing a JCPenney commercial right here. Hold on. Let me get all my information out. Dave, do you have any information? Can you help me?
I don't believe I do.
I have it. Never mind.
I think you do have it.
Oh, shut up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're supposed to be monitoring this.
I'm right there.
JCPenney, they're big sponsors here on the show. It's Advice Hour. I'm getting to something in a moment. This is what they call the Inside Scoop, and it's sponsored by JCPenney. Let's talk JCPenney and what all's doing there. I love JCPenney. First of all, spring cleaning is in order right now. They've got fabulous stuff to store your crap. Bright boxes, toy chest, sleek bins, and spice racks. Let's talk fashion, because they do that too. In for the season, what's in? Faded jeans, hats, plush coats, slouchy boots, retro polos, racy tank tops and classic pearls, slouchy bags and bold skirts, jeans in every flavor. Did I mention the worn jeans? And them too. It's all inside JCPenney. They don't have a bad makeup department either at all. You go in there and you get your colors. It's nude for the season, girls, again. I don't mind the nude, you know. It takes just as much makeup to perfect a natural look as it does. Do I look like I have on a lot of makeup today?
Not at all.
And I do.
You just look tanned.
Yeah, well, I do. I got a brush of tan on top of foundation. I got 5 coats of mascara on. I dye my eyebrows, but then you have to pencil them in for them to make sense. And I've got 3 coats of stuff on my lips. I got my conditioner, and I got my lipstick, and then I got my top coat. It's a lot of makeup to look natural, isn't it? Yeah. You can look natural, too. All done up with the piles of makeup. It's all inside JCPenney. I got to tell you something right now. And don't forget to get a trench. Trenches are big for the season. I know they've been saying that for the past 3 years in the fashion files. I finally got a trench coat. I got to tell you, I love it. You know why I got the trench coat? I got 2. I got one in beige and I got one in black. And I got them to work my wraparounds for VH1. Because while I'm doing the red carpet, you really only see from the shoulder up. It's only important that I have lots of makeup piled on to make it look natural. And, you know, maybe some really teased hair. But when I do my wraparounds, you know, that's a full-length shot. So I wanted to have something fashionable on. Fur coat season is over, almost. Although I'm, you know, fully furred today. It's cold. And then I get on the plane to go to South. It's cold again. But a raincoat is in order, and the VH1 show has pressed me to get one. It's all inside JCPenney, you guys. It is all inside JCPenney. Think fashion forward. Think economical. Think variety, all under one roof. The Inside Scoop, that's what it is. And it's sponsored by JCPenney. Thank you, JCPenney, for investing in this experience. Everybody loves you. What kind of time do I have on this break? Do I have time to address something?
About 1:15.
Oh, crap. That's no time. Dear Wendy, good theory on Puffy's mother. They put mother in quotes. I've often wondered myself. Here's another one. Dear Wendy, how shocking. But based on Puffy's behavior, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh. Ooh.
He doesn't behave like a man that came from a loving womb. Wow. Come on, you all. We're talking about Puffy, but we don't have to... Did we just take a dump on... Did this person, not we.
Right.
Did this person who didn't sign their name just take a dump on him?
Just a little one.
All right, well... Get Bentley to clean it up.
Ow.
Well... The Hour of Truth is coming up next. We're going to gossip about Kimora Lee Simmons and Oprah and Ruben. Keep it here.
Wendy, man.
I've been with this guy for like 5 years, and I know you say don't cheat. I know, but I can't help it. I want to.
Do you have intention on getting married?
We're married.
Oh, my God!
The Wendy Williams Experience.
Never thought I could say.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Hour of Truth. I love Kimora Lee Simmons. There is no love to hate because you can't. That's a self-made situation. Although it did help that she married into money, but money, and she could very well just be home like a desperate housewife. Instead, she pulled herself up by the bootstraps. She's got a whole empire going on, separate and apart from her husband. And on the phone right now, there's a woman who's going to help elaborate. Hello.
Hi, I'm trying to reach Wendy.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Wendy.
Nancy, I am loving this article.
Oh, good.
In Vanity Fair. Now, what month Vanity Fair does this actually come out? Because I don't have the actual magazine. I just have article excerpts.
Okay, it's on the newsstand now for the April issue.
Ooh, fabulous. Okay, everybody, the article is about Kimora Lee Simmons. Vanity Fair is a good magazine, but Nancy Jo Sales is a contributing editor, and this is a great article about a woman that we're all kind of fascinated by. You know, she's got a way of saying the truth, but for some reason we wince when we hear it, Nancy.
That's a very good way of putting it, Wendy.
Yeah, you know, like I noticed when she talked about her show Life in Style, which is, as she says, the homegirl version of The View. She says, I hate it. I thought it would be fun. I'm not used to having a boss. I am the boss. I don't need the money. I am filthy effing rich. I represent luxury, and that's what I love.
That's Kimora.
Like, I want to kick her in her teeth, but at the same time, I want to help her up, embrace her, and say, you go, girl.
Well, she's kind of addictive. Like, I really like being around her. You know, she's fun.
Yeah. How many days did you spend with Kimora to get this article together?
We were together on and off over a couple of months. I would, pop into her office and catch her in a meeting, and that was always fun. And one of the meetings, she pulled down her pants to show all her employees the underwear she was wearing, because it was an underwear meeting, and she wanted to show everyone the thongs she was wearing. So she's very uninhibited.
Wow.
And always, doing something off the cuff. But then the real highlight of our time together was we went to St. Bart's. In the Caribbean, and that was great.
Now what is she called you up and she said, look, I want you to come. I'm going to send a private jet for you. How did that work?
Oh, no. I wish. No. She has a extensive number of publicists and so forth, and I sort of had to battle my way past them to get, on that trip. Now,
did you fly down there actually with her, or did you meet her down there?
I went down there on my own and met her down there with Russell.
And were the kids there?
Yeah, the kids were there.
And who were they vacationing with? Just the family?
They had Brett Ratner in the house, and at various times I saw Kevin Lyles was there. And various other people. I mean, they seem to know a lot of people down there. They've been going down for, 10, 12 years.
Yeah. So now, does she spend very much time with her girls when they're on a vacation like that?
She spends a lot of time with her girls.
Nice.
She has in her office a little baby table and chairs, and they seem to be in the office a lot, and I think she's around them a lot.
Nice. Now, she goes on in the article for Vanity Fair, which, as I said, Nancy's written this article for the April issue on newsstands now. She's coming up with a makeup line and a fragrance line, and she says in the article about distributing it, she says, I'm too fabulous for Walmart.
Yeah, she does.
I want to smack her, but once again, I want to help her up and say, you go, girl.
Yeah, she's fabulous, all right. I mean, that's sort of her claim to fame, and she's working it.
And she's got a deal with HarperCollins to write 2 books. One of the books is How to Be Fabulous, and the other book is a children's book. She also says in the article that the doctor has told her she has an unhealthy relationship with food and claims that she's anorexic. Now, what types of eating did you see going on when you were around her?
Well, I mean, it's hard to think of Kimora as anorexic because she looks pretty healthy.
Yeah.
She's quite tall and she looks okay. But, she does say that she's anorexic. I think she might be exaggerating a little bit because I saw her eat a fair amount.
Yeah.
She likes to eat Red Lobster.
Well, you know what? We've had a celebrity spotting or two of Kimora at the Red Lobster. And that's one thing, it's nice to know that she, although she says she's too fabulous for Walmart, I would think that this same woman would think she'd be too fabulous for Red Lobster. Apparently not. That's good.
Yeah, I was with her when she ate Red Lobster twice.
Now, she referred to beating asses a few times in this article.
Yeah, she likes to talk about beating asses.
Yeah, now one was anybody who throws any ish on a fur that she's wearing. She says, I'm going to whoop your ass. I wish somebody would throw ish on me.
Well, again, that's just Kimora being Kimora. She says she wears fur and she's unapologetic about it.
Yeah.
She doesn't want anybody throwing paint on it.
Now, she also acknowledged her regal position in hip-hop next to her husband, Russell, by saying, I feel like Coretta Scott King. I'm so proud of Russell.
Oh, I couldn't believe she said that. But, with Kimora, sometimes she's joking.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of those jokes you don't quite know how to take it. But I think sometimes she's trying to make us laugh.
Yeah. Well, you know what? She's very entertaining. Did she say that this Life and Style show is canceled already?
Is it? I don't know. I hadn't heard that.
Did she make any references to how she gets along with the girls? Did you ask her?
She said at one point there was this is not in the piece, but I remember at one point there was a gossip item, page 6 or something, about how the girls on the show don't get along, and there's some jealousy going on because Kimora gets more of the attention than the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
And someone said, and the other girls were very upset about that item, and Kimora said something to the effect of, why? It's all true.
Well, you know what? You want to knock her down with your foot, but you want to help her up and say, I can't help. Because she does get the attention. She's fabulous.
Yes, she is.
Look at me going along with it, but she is fabulous.
And how do you like the picture, Wendy?
I haven't seen the picture. All right, tell us what the picture looks like.
Oh, my goodness. She's in a bikini. She had 2 kids, but she's gotten back into shape, and she's in, not a bikini, I'm sorry. She's in a one-piece, but it's like a bikini because it's slit down the front. And you're just going to have to see it. It's an eye popper.
Nice. Now, she also explains in the article about how she met Russell, something about how she was laying naked in St. Bart with no top on.
Oh, no, that's when I was interviewing her.
Oh, well, do tell. No, that's right. You know what? Russell was trying to date Tyra Banks, who's one of Kimora's best friends. But when Russell saw a very young 16-year-old Kimora walk down the runway, he changed his attention to getting Kimora and obviously got her. Now, let's go back to interviewing with the top off. Go ahead.
Well, like I said, she's uninhibited. She's not shy, and she looks great. And so there she was,
Nice.
Yeah.
And when they got married in St. Bart back in 1998, it says in the article that one of the women stole one of her bridal shoes. Because
she told me all about how they got engaged. Before that, she said that she and Russell had been dating for several years, about six or 7 years, and she wanted to marry him, and he was stalling. And then she walked onto a boat with a girlfriend of hers. I think it was the girlfriend of Andre Harrell at the time. Mm-hmm. And they walked onto the boat, and there was Russell with another girl.
Oh.
Yeah, and she said, that's it. It's over. Forget it. Kicked him out of the house that they were staying in together on St. Bart, and he begged and pleaded, please take me back. I'll marry you tomorrow. And she said, okay, let's do it.
Wow.
And she actually ran around looking for someone to marry them but couldn't find anyone. And they ended up getting married actually a full year later, also on St. Bart. And on their wedding day, which is what you were just asking me, one of her bridesmaids, and she wouldn't tell me which one, there were 5 of them, and she said it was not Tyra Banks, but one of her own bridesmaids stole her shoes and threw them in the grass.
And she looked at that as a sign of jealousy because that bridesmaid probably wanted Russell herself.
Well, she said that, Russell was very eligible, he's very wealthy, and a lot of women had designs on him, but,
She says in the article she will beat a bitch's ass. Once again, here he goes.
She said it again and again.
Yeah, if you try to mess with my man. Now, let me see if I can find the quote. Oh, here it is. And any woman who dares to flirt with her husband, Russell Simmons, this is what Kimora says. I will beat a bitch's ass. Women come up to him all the time. Women are unruly and just ridiculous. Like knowing full well that you're married and you have a life and you have a family and they want to flirt and rub your booty, and wow.
She also said that Russell has not been entirely, a one-woman man even since they've gotten married.
Yeah.
She didn't go into it in detail, but she said, you can ask him about that.
Wow.
And I did, and he said, you got to read the article. It's a juicy one. But he said, I can't stop looking at the girls' behinds in yoga.
Yeah, well, has she been faithful during their entire marriage?
She says she has.
Did her body language look crazy while she was saying that she has been?
Oh.
I mean, you know what I mean.
Crazy. It's hard to tell from body language alone. But even though she was half naked, but I don't exactly remember. But she didn't own up to any indiscretions on her own part.
Interesting. Hey, one more thing about the article. By the way, everybody, it's Nancy Jo Sale on the phone. She's a contributing editor for Vanity Fair magazine. A fabulous article about Kimora Lee Simmons in the April issue. Get to know this woman. She, at the very least, Kimora makes you chuckle.
She's a force of nature.
Yes, she is. Well, so now she talked about the weed in the car, and here's her quote, everybody. It was pot, P-O-T. I do believe, but it was not mine. I didn't even know it was there. I just had a baby fat party. Somebody gave it to me to thank me for having a cool party. It was a really very teeny amount, like $5. Believe me, if I was buying it, I wouldn't buy...
It wouldn't have looked like that.
Yeah, it wouldn't have looked like that.
I love that quote. Yeah, I mean, her own lawyer had said that there was no pot in the car. And by the way, the reason she's spelling is because we're in the car taking her daughter Ming Lee home from school, so she's spelling P-O-T. So, And
what was she driving? Was Kimora driving?
Yeah, she was driving.
And what was she driving?
I'm bad with cars. Big SUV, maybe some kind of Mercedes type SUV.
And you were in the passenger seat?
I was in the passenger seat, and Ming Lee was in the back.
And what was the atmosphere in the car? Was she talking on the telephone, smoking a cigarette, listening to radio?
I've never seen her smoke. She had curlers in her hair because she was getting ready to do some kind of TV shoot. Mm-hmm. And, she always looks beautiful. She's a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
But she had the curlers in her hair, and she was just, being a mom, going to pick her daughter up at school. I mean, her daughter has a, basically full-time bodyguard.
Oh.
But who's... follows her around everywhere. But she picked her up that day, and we started talking about it because we were on the same road. We were driving on the same road where she was pulled over.
Yeah, Cloister Road, wasn't that?
Yeah. Something like that. And she was pulled over there, and she was showing me, see, look, they said that she was evading, but really there is nowhere to pull over.
Now, when you got to the school, did Ming Lee, was she already outside with a teacher or something, or did Kimora go inside with the curlers and like that? How did that work?
She went inside with the curlers, and she was a little embarrassed because she was getting ready to do this TV spot, and she said, they've never seen me like this, But, no, we did go inside and pick her up inside the school.
Clearly, though, the school is full of other fabulous kids of fabulous parents, and everybody has money and some type of fabulosity.
You should have seen the Halloween party at their mansion that we went to. It was just incredible. I mean, there was a life-size Frankenstein on a table and all sorts of, get your picture taken on the box of Wheaties, get your kids on just a DJ playing Janet Jackson, and they had these motivational actors dressed up in costumes. It was like...
God, I love it. I can't wait. You know what I have right here? I have the cliff notes of this article.
Oh, okay.
And the article just came to light yesterday because I was reading in the newspaper the quote about her beating, somebody's ass if they talk to Russell. So I am so glad that you actually called into the show. As soon as I get off, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get this Vanity Fair. It's April's edition of Vanity Fair, everybody. Fabulous article on the woman we love to hate. Love you, Kimora. And Nancy Jo Sale, thank you so much for calling.
I love your show, Wendy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
It's Wendy, man.
Yesterday, I don't know if you heard Little Flip gave you a nice shout out on 106 and Park. He was just shouting you out because you broke Sunshine before everyone was playing, and he said after you played it, the whole country started.
Of course!
The Wendy Williams Experience.
Wendy Williams Experience, the Hour of Truth. A couple of hits and a couple of misses coming on TV this weekend. Of course, the hit, The Desperate Housewives. Of course, a hit, anything that comes on VH1 in reruns. And, of course, another hit is Their Eyes Were Watching God, which premieres on ABC Sunday night, starring, of course, Halle Berry and her new boyfriend, who plays a guy named Tea-Cake, and his name is Michael Ealy. That's her boyfriend in real life. Unfortunately, this Oprah-produced movie based in the 1920s, it's based on the Harlem Renaissance, star Zora Neale Hurston's classic novel about a woman from Florida. And the woman from Florida, well, basically, this movie is based on a woman with a passionless marriage. And she's finally healed of her passionlessness by meeting a younger man. And the younger man is played by Michael Ealy. Halle Berry is playing an older woman in this, yet they still look the same age. Maybe they should have zhuzhed her up a bit, made her look a little bit older so you could tell the age difference. Anyway, it's been a pet project for Oprah for quite some time. And Halle's got weevilicious hair in it. She looks fabulous. And this is actually where Halle met her present boyfriend. So we get a chance to actually watch them work together and how the chemistry works. Unfortunately, my friends over at Us Magazine only gave this movie a 1.5. And here's their saying after their 1.5 star. They say, not much for our eyes to watch. Can I tell you something and be very, very honest? At 9 o'clock on Sunday night, I'm going to be on Wisteria Lane. Sorry. Huh?
You're not going to support Halle and Oprah?
I do support them. Do you see me talking about it? I'm driving millions of people to watch.
Okay.
So while they're over there watching, I'll be doing what I really want to do. I'm going to be true to myself. And the truth to myself, I don't want to watch. I want to watch Wisteria Lane. If Wisteria Lane wasn't on, I'd be watching Their Eyes Watching God. What are you going to be doing at 9 o'clock on Sunday night?
Yeah, you're right. I won't be watching that.
You'll be watching what? Porn?
Yeah.
Dave.
God,
Now,
Steph.
see, can't you put a pause on the porn? See, because there's no excuse. If you're watching porn, you can save that for another time.
Spice Channel.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Live.
Yeah, it's live. Yeah. Don't I know it? Mm-hmm. Oh, the failure for the weekend, by the way, is Vivica Fox's new show, Starlet, whatever the hell. I'm sorry. You know, I love Vivica, but your show is going to be a flop.
You haven't watched it yet.
I don't need to watch it. I'm going to watch it, though, just to reaffirm what I'm saying. Like, I smell a failure. First of all, I barely care about the America's Next Top Model competition. After the first season, and then, I watched every episode of the first season. The second season, I was in and out. This third season, I'm over and out. Over and out. They've taken a good concept and they've worn it the F down. When I heard about America's Next Top Model, what drove me to want to watch it is Ty Baby. You know what I mean? Because she's an authentic model and so on and so forth. Now I'm hearing about this Starlet show, and I got to tell you something. What's going to drive me to watch it is to watch Vivica Fox. I don't care about Faye Dunaway. Every time that Bonnie and Clyde comes on TV, much like when I see Ellen DeGeneres or the Jackson movie on VH1, I stop. Ellen DeGeneres telling jokes, that's a stop. Yeah, I don't care if I've seen the jokes 1,000 times told by her. Stop. When I see Bonnie and Clyde on TV, stop. Yeah, I always do. I don't care about Faye Dunaway now. By the way, give her the drill in advance. Because what you're about to see on Sunday night, and I know she's a woman of a certain age, and, she's happy she has all of her real teeth and stuff. But there's a time when to just know when to cover all that up. I mean, you're in Hollywood. And after you finish, you pass the same memo on to Diana Ross. Yeah, the Starlet's going to be a flop. That comes on this weekend. Back to Kimora Simmons, though. It's been 40 years since the death of President John F. Kennedy, and there was a 3-day sale of some household items, and the sale raked in over $5.5 million. The household that they took these things from for the auction, one of their summer homes. And a lot of regular people bought stuff. They say Some of the items snapped up were like one woman paid $6,000 for a cranberry glass table lamp, which is not regular people money, but it's as close to regular as we're going to get for a Kennedy auction. There's nothing in there going for, $15 for a scarf or, nothing like that. Katie Couric spent $3,900. She bought a water cooler. That's a cool item. If it's still functioning, you keep it in your kitchen. But the fabulous Kimora Lee Simmons, her husband, snapped up pieces of Jackie O's Louis Vuitton luggage for $60,000 and presented Kimora with these pieces. It's good to be. No hate over here. Yeah. Little John was in the Paris Hilton sidekick.
Yes.
And here's his quote. People called saying yeah and okay. Very original. I had to change that number. Yeah. Hugh Hefner says, it's crazy. I even got emails from someone pretending to be Hugh Hefner. That's what Lindsay Lohan says. I'm sorry. And Paris Hilton, Nicole Richie's boyfriend says, this Paris phone thing was hell. It's beyond frustration. Let's stick with Lindsay Lohan, by the way. I like the position that she's taking with her no good father because she calls him no good too. That's good because it makes us think that, okay, he's, how every family has the crazy one, but if you don't break it down to the public, then we're going to think you're all crazy and no good. Well, here's her quote. Because, Lindsay says their father has no right to claim any of her earnings. The parents are going through divorce right now. He's suing the mother for half when the divorce isn't even finalized. His half, by the way, could equal $6 or $7 million a year. Here's what Lindsay says. He didn't do anything for my career except go out and not come home at night. Ooh. Exactly. So I don't think he deserves anything. He doesn't even deserve my respect. Damn. As sick as it sounds, a reality show might actually help. At least then, people could get the truth. Because I told you that Michael, her piece of father, is trying to get a reality show going involving the whole family. So good, Lindsay. I'm glad you're separating. She told that to W Magazine. Have we talked about Fat Ass Ruben yet?
No.
Okay, keep it here. You see where I'm going.
Uh-oh.
It's Wendy, man.
I got slayed so well. Made me do things I don't even do to my husband.
Oh, my God! The Wendy Williams Experience.
Yes, it's the Wendy Williams Experience right here on the radio. So Shot 97 is moving to Wall Street. Yeah, I found out yesterday when I said, when are they getting kicked out of that building? Well, it turns out it's being alleged, I'll just say, that they were kicked out of the building. No, the lease is not up. They're kicked out. Mm-hmm. Hit the appropriate button, whatever you feel like hitting, Art. Give Art a moment. Keep it going. Keep it going. How you doing? Keep it going. Keep it going. And while you're on those buttons, give a shout out to Chris Lighty for me, will you?
I'm gay.
All right.
I'm a homo. I like guys.
So they're moving down to Wall Street where they're going to terrorize the stock exchange. You're going to turn the stock exchange into the hood. It actually is the hood. A whole lot of illegal mess, going on down there. So yeah, the shot exchange. In the meantime, the gunman was caught thanks to those installed cameras that they finally installed outside of the old Shot 90. We're calling it the old because they're about to move sooner, hopefully, than later. What I like about them moving down to Wall Street is that they're moving, further away from us.
Yeah.
Just keep all that crap over there. This is the grown and sexy neighborhood over here, 34th and Park Ave. You can't get a better address in Manhattan. What? Shout out to everybody in Harlem. Sorry to hear about what's happening.
Oh.
But you know what? You should have known it was coming. How are you going to have, a $1 million, $2 million, renovated townhouse and only be paying $4,000 a year? I don't mean to be co-signing with the government, but damn it.
Be smart.
Well, no, it's not be smart. Everybody pays Astro. Shout out to the homeowners. Are your taxes crazy at your house? I got a tax bill that absolutely when we were living in Marlton, New Jersey, taxes were $5,000. That was the most beautiful thing. $5,000, nice suburbs, beautiful neighborhood. When we lived in Bergen County, at the place that we were living, our taxes were, I think, 15 and change. It's almost double now. So you know what, Harlem? Wish I could say I feel sorry for you, but I mean, I'm just saying, only because how you going to be up there, right? How you going to go and buy a brownstone for, I don't know what they're paying for a brownstone, up in Harlem, like a crack den, that's had crackheads in it or homeless people or whatever, all boarded up for years. So you pay next to nothing for that. Then you gut it. You lay your marble floors. You put your recessed lights. You get your hurricane windows. Your Persian rugs from Persia. Your central vac. And your maid's quarters, because the places are so big, you actually have a maid. And then you still think you're only going to pay, $4,000? Welcome it to the other side with the rest of us over here. You pay what your place is worth. If you got a place that's worth 1.5, that's right. You pay $25,000 a year in taxes. I'm not saying it's right because they just sprung it on these people. You understand if you're paying $25,000 a year in taxes, that's $2,000 a month that they got to come up with?
What about neighborhood?
Well, you know what? I don't know how they're basing it because you can still live in a messed up neighborhood but have the flyest house in the joint. But, the tax assessors are looking. I mean, it's a piece of a neighborhood, too, because, there are nice neighborhoods up there. What Harlem is nice. Shut up. But I'll tell you what, you're not going up there and renting a place for $4,000 a month. All of a sudden, your rent goes up $2,000 because your landlord now has to pay $25,000 a month in, a year in taxes. So you've been paying $2,000 a month all along. So now either you're going to get kicked out of your Harlem place because you're renting from one of these, marble inlaid people, or the landlord's got to get a new job. I mean, it's a terrible situation to be in. I don't feel for them because they're finally having to pay taxes that go along with the worth of their place. I don't feel bad about that. What I do feel bad and up in arms about is how the city of New York can just tell these people overnight. There's one woman I saw, no lie, on the news last night. You probably saw her too. $4,000 a month or a year in taxes. Taxes now $29,000 if this goes through. $29,000. Excuse me. Ooh, that was watery. That was full of Starbucks, wasn't it? Did you hear all the cream?
I'm frustrated.
If it was a fart, I'd have a stain.
Oh, that was disgusting. That was disgusting.
Well, we're talking about bodily functions. Let's talk about Ruben.
Oh, no.
Fat ass was seen at a party out in L.A. Less than 2 weeks ago. It might have been an Oscar party. People were saying that it is scary. At this point, it is scary. And my feeling about Ruben is that, when I think Ruben, R&B singer, why don't I twist my face up the same way when I talk about Gerald Levert, who, by the way, was cleared of the assault charges because of lack of evidence, everybody? Gerald Levert is a little sexy chocolate morsel. Sure, he's got extra folds and he's, maybe a grilled cheese sandwich away from a... But why is it that when I see Gerald Levert, even when he's sweating on stage, I see sex?
That's what he sings about.
So does Ruben. Why don't I look at him that way?
Because everybody know he ain't getting no ass.
But you know what? That behind is growing.
Ooh.
So Jay Leno is looking for exemption from the Michael Jackson gag order, but here's what it says. Jay Leno has been subpoenaed, as we all know, for Michael Jackson's child molestation trial. He wants the judge to lift or clarify a gag order that could keep from one of his most vital resources, or vital sources of punchline. What? What I'm trying to tell you is that the attorney for Jay Leno said that the judge has a sweeping order barring anyone involved in the case from discussing the case, including Jay Leno with his swift punchlines on stage. You see what I'm saying? This motion was made on the grounds that the court could not possibly have intended its gag order, they say, which was issued more than a year ago to limit public personalities like Mr. Leno from commenting on public proceedings in the case. Applying the gag order to Jay Leno would be blah, 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 blah. If the gag order is appealed, what I'm saying is that Jay Leno still wants to make, funnies about the Michael Jackson case, but now he's involved. Did I just deliver all that with disgust? Not real clarity?
Very confused.
And very nonchalantly, very blasé. Because this is not about Jay Leno. I've painted Michael Jackson with the guilty brush already. So I'm like, while I'm conveying a message to you, I'm like, why do they have to call Jay Leno? Why do they have to call anybody? I want to know what shade lipstick Michael Jackson uses. It is absolutely beautiful. They report that Siegfried and Roy have turned their backs on Michael. They're longtime friends. Well, they are not on the list of character witnesses drummed up by Michael's lawyers for this child molestation trial. Elizabeth Taylor is, Diana Ross, Stevie Wonder. I said Diana Ross. Stevie Wonder. Kobe Bryant, which, why would you call him into it? He already has problems. He's settling, and he's trying to keep his marriage together. The illusionist Uri Geller. You know who Michael's great friends with? The amazing Kreskin. I see him like once a month. He eats breakfast at a place where I go with my family, and Kreskin lives in New Jersey. As a matter of fact, he lives in the same town as Tony Soprano on the TV. What's the town called again? It's right up the street. Anyway, hey Kreskin. He came over to the table one time, did magic tricks for my son. That was like a big deal. You know what I mean? The amazing Kreskin. But he's good friends with Michael, so I don't know whether Kreskin's going to be called in or not. His name's not on it. But they insist that Siegfried and Roy are not in this. They don't want to be dragged into it for private reasons. And so Michael's looking at that as, if I get off, I will forever condemn you. Whatever. They're saying Michael's cracking under pressure, though. He's putting on a brave face, but that's to be expected. It's to be expected. For as beautiful as Michael's lips are with the lipstick and stuff, why do his hands look like that? Why are his fingernails black and his hands, he looks like he digs in dirt all day. His hands are really nasty. Would you eat a sandwich after this man has touched it? No. Look at his hands.
Yeah. It's that vitiligo.
Yeah, the vitiligo does that? Well, they have Dermablend over at the JCPenney. At least when you go out in public, cover that. Nobody wants to see that. What else did I say we were going to talk about today? We talked about Oprah. We talked about Jen. Puffy and Ruben. Elton John is convinced that Prince Charles should have fought for Camilla Parker Bowles instead of marrying Princess Di. Nobody ever talks about that. Like, why didn't Prince Charles just marry Camilla? Because his mother didn't like her or something? I don't know. Doesn't Kirsten Davis from Sex and the City look like she's aged about 20 years since Sex and the City ended? Have you seen her on any advertisements or anything like that? She looks real different. She looks different to me. What else is good? I told you guys that they approved Usher for the NBA partial purchase of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Well, here it is in official style, because yesterday I was just telling you. I always like to give you guys the official update. Art, hit this just in or something. LeBron James is no longer the only superstar affiliated with the Cleveland Cavaliers. On Tuesday, the NBA gave its approval for the team's sale to a new group of owners, one of whom is Usher. It's not clear how much money Usher ponied up, but the total purchase is $375 million. Or, for that matter, what percentage he shares, because the majority, of course, is owned by Dan Gilbert, the blind man, right? But Usher attended a Cleveland Cavaliers press conference with his new partners, promising that he'd have heavy involvement with the team.
What are you doing?
All right. I'll bet you will, Miss Honey.
Stay out the locker room.
Oh, boy. What do we have over there?
About a minute.
About a minute. So back to the Jackson trial. So the sister took the stand yesterday of a little while. It's hard for me to keep up. You know what? I don't even want to talk about it. It's hard to keep up. We got a lot of TV watching over the weekend, though. We got Their Eyes Are Watching God. We got The Starlet. We got Wisteria Lane. We got a gaggle of stuff to catch up to on MTV and VH1. We got a lot of Fox News to watch regarding this Michael Jackson trial. I mean, we've been so busy this week, haven't we? It's busy. We're all busy. All right, everybody, keep it here.
It's Wendy, man.
I have a boyfriend, and I've been with him for maybe a little over 3 years, and he's just now telling me that he has a child out there somewhere that may be like 5 or 6 years old.
The Wendy Williams Experience.
Hey, everybody, it's the Wendy Williams Experience. Isn't it funny that with Martha Stewart being home and she's going to be on house arrest for 5 months, and it's a house arrest that really isn't bad at all. I mean, they try to make it you believe that this ankle bracelet around her. You know, I saw the legal analysts on the news this morning saying, "Oh, well, it's a constant reminder that she's a criminal." So what? Oh, it's thick. It's uncomfortable. The second she steps, 2 feet off her property, the authorities alerted. Who wants to go out of the house? If I could, I'd stay in the house all the time. And I'd raise the window or open up a door and stand to get my fresh air and then close it right back. Nature is something that I'm in to get from my house to the car. That's it. That's it. I'm not like one of those, let's take a picnic. Let's have a long walk. I've had to start getting into that kind of stuff, with the kid and everything. But really, he makes me do things that I'm not born to do. Let's go camping. What? Camp, damn ing. So I told him when it gets summer, we'll go camping. I told him on the deck. So this is what I'm going to do. Not even in the backyard, because there's not an extension cord that far. And I see the tracks in the snow, all kind of possums jumping all around the place. Is he out of his mind? He thinks I'm Wonder Woman, just, strong. And I have Wonder Woman. I have a lot of Wonder Woman stuff in my office at home and in my office here and in my closet at home and stuff. So, he thinks I'm Wonder Woman, which is great. Mommy can do it all. He sees me fixing stuff, with the nails sticking out of my mouth, nails to, I'm holding it and the hammer and changing light bulbs and teasing and popping and, looking beautiful and then, cooking. But he thinks I'm Wonder Woman. But I'm not. That's it, I'm Wonder Woman. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go camping, but it's going to be on the deck where we can look at the TV. If we leave the screen door open, we can hear. You see what I'm saying? It might not be roughing it, but it's as close to nature as I can't take it. Uh-huh. One day I'll send him to Camp Atwater or something like that in Massachusetts. He can go camping. Maybe someplace there's a nice, well-appointed campsite where it's like we're in the woods, but we're not really camping. You know what I mean? Right. There's a hardwood floor. It's raised up off the ground. There's, it's not tent conditions with a tarp. And he's talking teepee. So his Uncle Tommy and Aunt Renita gave him a teepee for Christmas. So I figured we'll take the teepee out onto the deck and set that up. Set up one of those blow air mattresses. I ordered one from I was just stating. I ordered a lot of junk that I've never even used before. But, I'm nesting. I'm, home for 9 months. So I'll finally get used to this air blow mattress, blow that up, sit that on the deck, get a long extension cord for the telephone, and of course bring my cell phone out as well. You know what I mean? Set up a cooler with the ice and everything. We're going to camp this summer, but it's going to be right outside on the deck. But we'll camp.
For a weekend.
Yeah, for a weekend. And it'll be it's raised up off the ground, no wild deer. Have you ever seen a wild turkey? Do you know that they actually walk around? They walk around our neighborhood. Dave, you live in the woods. Do they walk around your neighborhood?
They walk around in groups.
Exactly. You never see one by themselves. Always the whole family.
It's good meat, though. It's a little tough. It's good meat, too.
It turns me off to see them all dirty and wild.
None of them around where we are. They take off.
Yes, because they don't fly. But what they do is
all kind of directions.
Yeah,
they tread water.
Yeah. Like their arms are like they're drowning. If they're, just all crazy and with no. Oh my Starbucks. But yeah, they just flap around, just crazy like. And I don't understand. And he thinks all that's fascinating.
It is. I'm with him.
To look at from outside or from the safety of a deck raised up off the damn ground with a latch so they can't get over, and your finger on one, as in 9-1. You know what I mean? Back in the day when I was an offender, you think you hear all kind of stuff and you see all kind of shadows and whatnot. 9-1 was my best friend because I'd be ready for the next one. Ratting out myself in my own paranoia. I never did it, but, I 9-1. And I'd sit there often, with this receiver in hand, ready to press the other one, thinking I heard something. Oh, man, I'm so glad I'm not on that side of the tracks anymore. It's good to be clean and sober. It's good to not be working at Shot 97, boy, based on this crap. For a moment there, just about 4 weeks ago, things were really wobbly here at, my foundation station, the fabulous WBLS. But we just had to come to terms of which, I'm so glad everything worked out. Shot called. Uh-oh. You know what I'm saying? And Ed Lover, your position was called in for me. By the way, I saw Ed Lover the other night. He was on his way to a Knick game. We stopped the car and stuff. Ed, you seemed a little paranoid when you saw me. Why? Come on, man. You and I are cool. Don't ever seem like that. It's just a little crazy. But they did ask me if I wanted your job. I said no.
Ooh.
Because at that point, everything was, getting ironed out here. This is where I want to be, boy. Shout out to Miss Jones. Oh. I can't do those hours anymore, Jones. You know what I'm saying? Trying to maintain somewhat of a family life and, being that I'm a woman of a certain age, between all the retin A and the collagen and whatnot, a good night's sleep is first and foremost. And waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning just is not good for family life.
And you're allowing others to eat.
And I'm allowing Jones and Ed to continue to eat, yes.
Very nice.
And yet I'm over here still at BLS and, might I add, eating better.
Oh.
Yeah. But I say all that to say, I said I'm glad I'm not working over there because it's just too crazy. Now, 50 was inside 106 in Park doing his appearance with Vin Diesel. Hit all the appropriate buttons. Oh. Okay. Ow. Because people have asked before and I've said, no, the verdict's not.
How you doing?
There have been some things that have slipped out in terms of his mannerisms and his delivery while he's promoting this kiddie movie. Because you see, now you're not tough guy. When you're talking about being a kid movie, all of a sudden you're a little bit softer.
And he's playing one in the movie.
And a lot pinker. That's what I'm saying. He's promoting the movie, so he's not like, right. He's like, oh, yeah. Playing with the kids. And I'm like, oh, Miss Honey. Damn. Anyway, Vin was on 106 in Park, and so was 50. And while they were inside the building, chatting it up with Vin, and Jennifer Lopez was there, members of the NYPD ran up on some of the hangers-on. Shortly after 5 o'clock yesterday, it says in the newspaper. A knife was found on dude. His name is Gene Bernard. He's 28. And they're adding that he may have been present during the shooting at Shot 97. In the meantime, they caught the trigger man. Yeah, I don't know any more about the story. I got to check on it. Actually, I'm being rushed because I see the 30-second flag in my face. All right, you guys, look, I love you for listening today. I had a fabulous time. In the meantime, you all have a really safe weekend. And, we'll talk Monday. Shout out to everybody in South Carolina listening on Hot 103.9. I'm leaving here, and I'm going right to the airport, and I'll see you tonight downtown at the South Trust Building. We're going to get it on. And I'll be in Maryland tomorrow for the Power 99, my Philly station, for the big bangin' ski trip. We're going to get it on. Party, party, party. Damn. What a crazy life.
I'm tired of thinking about it.
You all take it easy. Bye.
These party people. See you later.
Cause I'm saying bye-bye.
Good night.
Program complete.
Since you've been listening this far, we're going to throw in a little bonus hour. You ready?
How long is this bonus hour gonna last? I'm getting addicted.
No, let me tell you. I love this extra hour.
Everything is organic here on the bonus hour.
Yeah, baby. Hey, yo, check this out. It's Wendy, man. Here it is. It's the bonus hour on the Wendy Williams Experience.
107.5 WBLS, New York.
Yeah! From the Aviator Collection. That's my truck. CeCe Peniston is feel-good music on the Wendy Williams Experience. I know we heard CeCe yesterday, and what? Not a damn person out there that was not snapping their neck, even the hardest of the hard. You know what I'm saying? Doing the booty dance in your chair, okay? That's CeCe Peniston, y'all, on the Wendy Williams. So it went down yesterday. Before I get started, I'm going to show you a picture of Capone the rapper art, and it is very important that you hit not the drill, but the jack damn hammer. Look at those teeth.
Oh, my gosh.
Everybody Daily News, page 21. Really. That's beyond repair. Just take them all out and start over. Damn, Pone. And you got the most beautiful eyes and nice skin. And then you smile. Come on, man. Damn. There's a fang, there's gray teeth, there's broken up teeth. Look on the right side of his mouth. The very tooth on the very end. It doesn't even look like it's in a tooth position.
Looks like
He's been opening Heineken cans with them teeth.
Oh.
Well, anyway, let's talk about Capone. The rapper Capone, this is in the Daily News today. I'm handicapping, though. I know a lot of you all don't take time to read the paper as well. Everybody's busy. We watch the news, right? We don't read the paper. Or you listen here or whatever, which is a sad commentary. I often said that if I was on public transportation coming to work, I'd be reading the paper every damn day. That'd be a staple. Just so I don't have to, look up at strangers and make eye contact with people. Did you hear about the woman who got the $1.50 in the face just because she told some young boys to stop smoking on the subway? Ooh. She's in the subway. Doors open up, a bunch of teenagers. Well, right then and there, and shout out to all the good teenagers. Thanks for listening to the Miss Wendy show, but this is really for the grown and sexy, but I appreciate you all listening. You all make me wonder, too. I didn't say scared. I didn't say run. I didn't say clutch my purse, but on guard. On guard. I don't care if they're white, black, Asian, girls. Them girls be fighting as teenagers. I don't care. I don't care if I'm in the suburbs and I see a group of I don't care. Teenagers, to me, in a lot of cases, spell trouble. Did you see in Tom's River? The same kids videotaping the teacher screaming, stand up for the pledge, remember we were talking about it yesterday, are the same kids who, when the teens went to when the authorities went to the website to look at the video posted of this classroom incident, there was a link to another website, showed the very same teen, including the one holding the camera, whose father did all the talking about his son being a good boy, showed the very same ones, to the music, to rock music, with baseball bats in their hands, smashing Christmas decorations at Christmas, going from house to house. Damn. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So just when you want to say what an ass this teacher is, screaming, it's our constitutional right to either pledge or not pledge. You don't make people stand. What the hell with this teacher? Mm-hmm. Now it's like, what the F with the kid? Teenagers are out of control. Now the woman's got a scar for life or along her face. All she asked them was to please stop smoking in the subway. Mm-hmm. And when you see the woman on the news, you're going to see not a young and pop and drop it like it's hot, but somebody like in the fourth pew at church, that type of thing. She was on her way to her job. Anyway, I got sidetracked. The great thing I love about this hour is that we got a whole hour to get sidetracked. We don't have to make room for music or nothing. I love this. WBLS New York. It's going down. Rapper Capone told Lil' Kim's pre-jury trial yesterday that moments before a hail of gunfire erupted, a man approached him in front of Shot 97 radio station and asked him, "Do you have a problem with Kim?" And I said, "I don't have a problem with Kim," said Capone. Then, just before the bullets began flying on February 25th of 2001, another man yelled, "It could go down now." Sorry. He said the man fidgeted with a newspaper and that he was concerned that there was a weapon underneath. That's what Capone said. Then I heard shots, Capone said, whose real name is Kayam Holly. Capone said he fled up the street and saw a member of his posse, Ephraim, on the ground. And if you look on page 21 of the Daily News, they've grabbed camera footage, and there we can see Ephraim on the ground. I'll pass it around. You see Ephraim on the ground? Ephraim's on the ground. Dave, do you remember seeing Ephraim on the ground? You were there.
Running. I'm playing around the corner, staying put behind a couple trucks.
Shout out to Ephraim's family. We're not making light of this man's life, but Ephraim's on the ground. You know, the news has just gotten so gritty. Why do we have to see Ephraim on the ground? Why do we have to see Ephraim on the damn ground? Why have they let this footage leak to the public like this?
I've seen worse.
I've seen worse, too. I watch Faces of Death. Yeah.
It's a good video.
Yeah, well. Anyway, then I heard shots ring out. Capone fled up the street, saw Ephraim on the ground. He hopped onto the subway. He says, but since shots were still fired, he hopped on the subway. You know, like, screw the Range Rover that I left parked out front. F that. You know what I'm saying? He headed on the subway. Capone is 29. He's from Long Island City, Queens, and he insists that he did not know the two men who spoke to him before the gunfire. Lil' Kim is on trial for allegedly lying to the grand jury, yada, yada, yada. And she told the grand jury she didn't see them at the shootout, talking about Soof. Remember, we talked about Soof yesterday. And D-Rock. But both confessed to firing their weapons, Soof and D-Rock. And Soof testified on Wednesday that he knew Kim well and that she'd been there when he opened fire. And if you recall what I said yesterday, because it said in the newspaper, he actually bought the machine gun from Lil' Kim's Bergen County home to execute the firation. Both Capone and rapper Lil' C's were asked to look at video surveillance tapes taken outside the station. Lil' C's pointed out himself. Where's C's? Do we see C's here in the pictures?
There I go. That's me. Damn.
I'll be over there.
Yeah? That's me. Your partner, that's you too, right? Incriminate them all.
There is.
All right, look. Wait. Lil' C's pointed out himself, Kim and D-Rock Butler. Capone identified Kim on the tape and said he'd seen Butler in person. Capone said no one associated with him fired shots, adding that he suspected a member of Lil' Kim's entourage started the gunfight. Oh, here goes Pone talking. He suspects nobody from my camp fired. All the firing was done by Kim's people. Manhattan federal judge Gerald Lynch ordered the jury to ignore that speculation. How can you ignore speculation once it's out? Jurors are just human. You plant a seed in our minds and we're in doubt forever. Like when the seed was planted concerning Puffy's relationship with Janice Combs. You know what I mean? I can't go back to thinking normal now. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? If you're just turning on the show, all right, a quick recap. The question remains, is Janice Combs Puffy's biological mother, or is that some jump-off Asian left over from old man Combs back in the day? Because, he was hustling, he was a block hugger, and, of course, that involves having a lot of bitches around. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? The speculation that has been around for years. Artie came to me with this one day, and that reminded me that I had heard that before also. And then it's fresh topic of mine because I was talking with some people last night who, were talking about the same thing, and these people were well appointed. And I sat on this information for a while because for a moment there, me and Puffy, we were making some headway, and I think we still are making headway. But you know what? As Star says, the listener will not be denied. Hey, Star. I can't hold back on information just because I'm waiting for some damn mogul to come up here so that I can ask him in person, because that was going to be one of the questions. And it still will be, by the way. Uh-oh. Partner. It's just that I'm asking now. I'm asking, I'm wondering outside of my head. I'm really not asking you all for a response unless you're a deep, close insider, in which case, hit Art over the weekend and we'll get back to that on Monday. Is Janice Combs, the best of the ride or die chicks? I guess I'm akinning it to like how Richard Pryor was raised. You know what I'm saying? All them women in the house, Papa was rolling, Yeah. And then the best of the best jump offs, once Daddy gets offed, takes care of the boy.
Or is it an aunt?
Or is that an aunt? Because another theory, as Art brought up, that comes from his cipher, is that maybe the mother has passed on, the biological mother, and then that's an aunt. I mean, it doesn't matter either way. I mean, she loves him to the best of her ability, which is a lot better than some of you all that have pushed babies out of your wombs and are pieces of mothers. I'm not saying everybody. I'm just saying, there's in the audience, I know there's a smattering of bad motherhood going on. Or is it easy to hang out when your son is a mogul? Yeah, it's really easy to hang out and be the good mom, lay in the cut, or the good auntie, or the good jump, whatever. Lay in the cut when your son is hitting you off to lay in the cut and keep the lie going. That would have added more to his strings and violin story, though, if he just told that. Yeah. This woman is, my aunt, my mom, passed on, and she's raised me, and like that. And I remember the pictures from back when Puffy was 5, whatever. He had fur coat on, and Janice was standing there with him, looking like either a MILF or the number one stunner in the stable. Yeah, I mean, which way does it go? What is it? I suspect after this conversation, I'll never have a chance to actually ask him. Too bad. The show survives with or without guests. Where was I? I'm in this article. There's so many words. I am so in denial of I need an eye doctor appointment. I mean, they're not bad. I don't get headaches or anything like that. All right, let me just figure out where I am. Wait, Little Kim, the surveillance video. All right. Oh, we're talking about C's. Okay. Wait, hold on. Okay. Capone said he saw Butler and C's, who, like Kim, is a member of the Junior Mafia, outside the radio station. Kim, as well as Capone, of rap duo Capone and Noriega, were at Shot 97 for special promotion. Capone said Foxy Brown, another of Kim's rival performers, had done a song, yada, 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 the diss song we know. In other testimony, C's, whose real name is James Lloyd, turned on his old pal Kim. Oh, snap. You know what? For some reason, I was thinking C's wouldn't crap on Kim. Because now he's getting his cake. He got some cheese off that DVD. Congratulations again on that, Little C's, our friend to the show.
She should have let him out that record contract.
You know what? He's taking a dump on it right here. But you know what, though? This is like 30 years and lying to the feds. At some point or another, I mean, he barely crapped on her when he came up here to interview. Yeah. He's taking a major dump right there on the... let's get back into it. Shut up, Wendy. Read. Bitch. All right. Because I know that's what they're saying over in Brooklyn. Right. Shut the F up. Read, ho. All right. Damn. Okay, wait. All right. Okay. Turned on his old pal Kim. He testified that not only were the two shooters part of her inner circle, but Butler was her boyfriend. Go C's.
Double bomb.
But he said that on the show that Little Kim and D-Rock were effing around. Yeah. For real. Yeah. Remember he told us about the fights that would go on behind closed doors there at the little Kim compound where the guns are hidden, allegedly, over there in Bergen County? Remember?
Yes. Remember.
Okay. Go, C's, go. She's denying knowing anybody. One of them, Soof, produced pictures of them back in the day before the surgery, clearly showing that, he knew you back then. And now C's is saying that she effed around with D-Rock.
Corroboration.
Whoa. To the highest of corruptivity.
Yeah. Behind Biggie's back.
Behind Biggie's back.
Ooh.
Does that make her an alleged liar to the feds and a cheat? Well, if you lie, you cheat, you steal. If you steal, you kill.
Ooh. Case
closed, people.
That's what I was raised thinking.
That's what I was raised to think.
Yeah.
Case closed. If life was only that cut and dry. All right. C said they were so close. Okay, come on, Chuck. Read it. I hear you, Jersey City. Butler was her boyfriend, okay. Little C said he was so close to Kim, this is Damian Butler, that he had resided at her, okay, oh no. Okay, she's talking about himself, C's. C said that he, C's, was so close to Kim that he resided at her Englewood, New Jersey home for a time along with D-Rock Butler.
Oh, he's just putting salt in the wound now.
Yeah, well, you want to know what?
Because he's putting himself there at the premises, too.
But he lived there. We all know he lived there. It was like a flop house. Kim wasn't ever living by herself. It was always, a bunch of niggas around. During his test, which I don't understand how people live like that. You know what I mean? Like when you go home, don't you just want to scratch your nuts and swig from the orange juice naked by the light of the refrigerator? Don't you just want to do that?
It's a beautiful feeling.
Yeah. I agree.
Don't you want to know that if you place something someplace that's going to be right there when you come back? During his testimony, this is Little C's, he identified Butler, Jones, that's be Kim, and himself in Little Kim's Junior Mafia music video. So they're going with the Junior Mafia name, you all. See, remember they're going with that naming clip. And the video is No Matter What They Say. And they identified a scene in which they're all sitting together on a couch. It's a video. We're all friends from years is what C's is trying to establish. Kim is scantily clad in various outfits in the video, which includes a cameo by Missy Elliott, Mary J. Blige, and Puffy. Little C's, who was wearing a Biggie Smalls t-shirt, flatly rebutted Kim's testimony that Butler and Jackson were at the radio station during the shooting. Let me read this again. Little C's, who was wearing a Biggie Smalls t-shirt to court. Oh, I know what that was about. Maybe as opposed to wearing a suit. Because he's not on trial for anything.
No, he's cool.
This is Little Kim. So he's trying to make it look like she surrounds herself with the worst gutter snipes.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? Why else do you show up to court in a rapper's t-shirt? Right?
Yeah.
Unless you're trying to visually discredit the person who's fighting for her life.
Yeah. All dressed up.
All dressed up, looking like $1 million. Kim is. Sees, damn, I bet you he had that Negro swagger too when he went up there to the, you know what I'm saying? Pounding the jury.
I'm her friend.
Yup. This is the kind of people, I'm the kind of nigga she surrounds herself with.
Yeah.
Jordan's all unlaced, I'm sure. Hat tilted. I bet you the judge had to ask him to remove his hat. And when he did, there was a whole bunch of peasiness going on.
Yeah.
Nothing kempt, just looking crazy. Sleeping his eye. Exactly. Oh, Kim. I mean, I see right where you're going with this. She tried to do you in, so you're trying to do her in.
Karma.
No, it's called eye for an eye.
Oh.
And all I am is a set-sider. I don't care about none of this. You know what I'm saying? I got bigger fish to fry. We're all grown people. I'm appalled by this. Am I reading it with appallation in my voice? Or excitement?
A little bit of both.
Oh, God, I'm sorry. If you didn't see me, am I reading it in a way in which you picture me wringing my hands and rocking back and forth while I'm reading it? Oh, that's not how I mean to be doing it. Damn.
I feel that, though.
No, because it seems like I'm trying to put her under the bus, and I'm not trying to.
No, you're not.
Does it sound like I am?
Yeah.
No. What it sounds like is I'm caught up in the drama.
Right. You sound like you're partial to C's.
No, I'm not partial to anybody. I love C's. I love Kim. I love Soof.
You're just reporting.
I love D-Rock. I'm just reporting. But that's the difference in reporting here on The Experience and sitting like Sean Gable does on the CBS News. Hi, Sean.
Yeah, baby.
You know, when you're a reporter on TV, everything's got to be right. You can't put any grease in your voice, and your body language can't be partial to anything. I could never be a reporter on TV because you see how I get all caught up here. I'm wiping the spit from the corner of my eyes and wringing my hands, and you hear the grease in my voice just from... You can't report a story like this.
Right. Gotta be objective.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out how they stay objective over on the UPN 9 News when they talk about this mess. All this crap going on. Let me get back. Both he and... All right, wait, hold on. Cease was wearing a Biggie Smalls t-shirt. And he flatly rebutted Kim's testimony that Butler, and that's D-Rock, and Soof weren't at the radio station. Cease says he was in the limo with Kim going to and from the radio station that day. And jumped to the ground next to her when the gun started firing. Both he and D-Rock, her ex-slayer, severed ties with Kim months later, he said. He recalled that D-Rock threw Kim out of his house following an ugly fight. Yeah, because within Kim's house, there was a little area, their bedroom, that was like a little, a house within a house. Remember you used to do that when you were a kid living at your parents' house? Did you ever do that? You know, when you walk in your room, it's like a little apartment. I still remember doing all that crap.
Your own world.
Yeah, your own world. Afterward, Little C said he had no regrets testifying against Kim because she's a liar. Oh, crap!
Oh, he didn't go there.
Yes, he did.
And that's what they're after her for.
Yes, he did.
Perjury.
Damn. Why should I have been a dummy and lie about things like she did? Why should I lie and go to jail? She isn't a friend of mine no more.
Oh, my God. That's separation.
But during cross-examination, here we go, Kim's lawyer, Mel Sachs, getting at him. During cross-examination, Kim's attorney, Mel Sachs, got Little C's to admit that portions of his testimony yesterday conflicted with what he told the grand jury. And the one-time rap partner of the defendant admitted that he never saw Kim interact with the two shooters that day. Well, that doesn't mean anything. She interacted with one of them to the highest of interactivity. And the other one, Soof, said that he bought the gun from Kim's house. By the way, that Biggie t-shirt might have discredited C's altogether. You know, the hood clothes work two ways. It can either discredit Kim, like, damn, look at the niggas she surrounds herself with, or, damn, this nigga's lying. Look at her over there, a woman of that class and stature. She would never associate with that common ghetto trash.
Yeah.
And Kim, she does not have the over-dyed hair in court. It's back to her natural black. She's wearing sensible clothes, sensible makeup. Yeah, she looks like a nice girl. Who's on trial? Crap. What kind of time are we? Do we need to go into a commercial break?
You can, or if you want to do phone calls or anything here. It's up to you. We got a lot of time.
All right, let's see who's on the phone. Hello.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
I'm fine. My cousin actually has advice for you, but she's kind of a little afraid to speak.
Okay. Why is that?
She's just a little scared. She doesn't want anybody to hear her voice.
Okay. So she's sitting right next to you? So,
yes.
Okay, go ahead.
She's 38. She's been with her husband for like 19 years.
Wow.
And she's really just trying to figure out whether she should just like give up on everything, divorce him, or stay with him.
Why?
He lives, well, they have like a long-term relationship.
A long distance.
Right.
Oh, boy.
He lives overseas. She's here in the States.
Do they have children?
She has one child.
By him?
Yes.
How did they meet?
How did you meet?
That's your cousin. You don't know?
She needs to get in college. But she's she's just like fed up with it. She's trying to really figure like,
has she been cheating all these years?
Has she been cheating or he's been cheating? He has been cheating for probably like 5 years.
Yeah, it's time to. I don't need to hear anymore. It's time to get a divorce because further, it's not just that he's cheating. It's that this has been a long distance relationship or long distance marriage. As far as I'm concerned, too long. A 38-year-old woman who's been married for 19 years. What the hell? Where was she ever able to get her grown woman on? You know what I mean? Yeah, I would divorce.
You would divorce?
Yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't even think about it. I wouldn't think twice. I'd divorce his ass. And why is he overseas as opposed to being here and being, tending to his relationship?
He doesn't want to give me the divorce.
No.
He doesn't want to give her the divorce.
Well, she needs to consult a lawyer because she can divorce without him wanting to give anything.
Consult a lawyer.
Yeah. I wish her well.
Well.
All right, bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. She'll be a mess. I mean, she wasn't even able to get up on the telephone. But that's what happens when you. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on for just 1 second. Hold on for just 1 second. That's what happens when you get divorced, married too young. She's still like a 19-year-old child herself.
Oh yeah.
Trying to navigate. All right. No, hi. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, because I'm enjoying this.
No, go ahead. No, what's going on with you?
Okay, I was engaged to be married. I left my fiance when I left him like a couple months ago, and we just started talking back a couple months ago. Like 3 months after I moved out, and I'm living with I'm living with somebody, which is my sister, and she's making me feel obligated to do all these things for her, because I have a car. And every time I have to do something for her, I'll stop being with him and go do that for my sister. And he gets an attitude, you know what I'm saying? I know he loves me, and I don't want to be with anybody else but him. But now, for some reason, he's making me feel like that it's just not working. Maybe we should just call it quits. You know what I'm saying? But it's like I don't want to move on. You know what I mean?
Well, how old are you?
I'm 29.
And how long have you been with your fiance?
5 years.
And what's the reason for you guys breaking up?
Well, I left him because it was like he wouldn't listen to anything I said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He wants me to be totally dependent on him. Independently dependent on him. And I'm like, sometimes I would like to think for myself.
Well,
this isn't 1958 anymore.
Yeah.
2005.
Well, clearly, you have some. Perhaps, like we say here on the show, you have some room to get your grown woman on. I mean, the fact that you moved out from your fiance and didn't have the wherewithal to move on your own says that you are far from being independent yet to move in with your sister. And and I see nothing wrong with what she's asking you to do. Basically, earn your keep by running errands. If you don't like doing those things, then dig deep into your financial situation and be independent and move. If you don't,
I'm getting a house. I'm moving now.
Oh, good for you. You're buying a house?
Well, no, I'm just going to rent it for now. I'm actually, in school. I'll be graduating. I do hair.
Fine. Well, perhaps what you need to do is stop calling your fiance and truly end the relationship. And then if it's meant to be, in a couple of years, maybe you guys will get back together. But you've got some developing to do as a woman, and only through that development will you be able to stand up straight and continue to tell men like your fiance who want you to live in the 50s no. Or maybe acquiesce to some of their requests, knowing that, he's so silly. I'm just appeasing him, but really, I know what kind of woman I am. I'm all woman and I'm strong. But
my man, I believe that I am independent, but he'll come home from work. I cater to every beckoning call. He want me to take his shirt off, I do it. I cook him 3 meals a day, and I do go to school, and I do work. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel as though, I should do that for my man, because this is my man. You know what I mean?
Well, if that's what you want to do.
He's doing everything. And I did feel bad that I had to leave at the last minute when we're supposed to have been going somewhere else.
So what's your actual question to me?
I don't know. Am I wrong for dropping our plans? You know what I'm saying? To go do something for my sister at the last minute when I could have told my sister no? Because I feel like I owe her something because she has done stuff for me. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, if he wants you to do stuff with him, then you all will get your relationship back together and you'll be under the same roof. Right now, you need to do stuff for your sister because she's the one sheltering you because you are living with her.
Yeah. But not at her beck and call, though.
Well, not necessarily her beck and call. She's taking advantage of you, but then again, you're there to be taken advantage of because you have no place else to go.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah,
I'm putting myself in this predicament.
See, what you want to do is you want to get out there and continue in school and continue to make your own independent money so that life is presenting you with a bunch of options, not just beckoning and calling for some man or your sister.
Yeah.
And right now, you're backed into a corner. You have no other options.
Yeah, you're right.
All right.
Wendy.
Yeah.
Could I speak to you off the air for a second, too?
Well, what are we going to talk about?
I love you. You are so real.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
It's time to pick your pleasure. Call now to win at 212-545-1075. The choice is yours from the BLS Pleasure Chest. Good luck from 107.5 WBLS.
Today's R&B and classic soul.
Always have been, always will be.
107.5 WBLS.
Okay, and we're back. It's 107.5 WBLS. Today's R&B and classic soul. Of course, the Wendy Williams Experience. And, damn, those people in South Carolina don't understand what time I'm actually going to be arriving at this party I'm supposed to be hosting tonight. Mm-hmm. You know, because as far as they're concerned, I signed off, 45 minutes ago. Right. And I should be at the airport and getting on a plane right now. It's an hour-and-a-half flight down there. And we got a nonstop. And then I go right to the club. Little do they know, I'm here for the hour of truth. And my plane doesn't leave until like 9 o'clock at night. I get down there. I got to go to the hotel, change my clothes. Oh. I'm in my J-Lo velour. It'll be one of those changes, where you don't shower, you just change. And go.
They'll keep partying until you get there.
Yeah, I'm not going to even redo my, I'll redo my makeup. I keep the same makeup on. I won't even put a curling iron in my hair. I can't. Who has time? I took a shower this morning. Normally I would take a shower before changing to go to a party or something like that. Mostly because the activity that goes on after the party, you get a few drinks in you. You know what I mean? You want to be all fresh, ready. But no time for that. We're catching an early morning flight to come right back. Literally, when we come in from the party, we'll be waking up the baby and saying, come on. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Come on, let's go. We take him down there with us because that's where Grandma lives. Oh. Yeah, she doesn't come up here that much. So, Grandma lives like an hour and a half away from where we're going to be in Columbia. She lives in Georgetown, South Carolina. So she's gonna meet us at the hotel and spend some time with her grandson. Babysit is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? It's a twofold thing. See, if we went down there without him. Although my parents are here now. So my parents are at the house. But my parents, they always overstay. They're welcome. They'll be here for at least 3 weeks.
Easy.
Hi, Mommy. Hi, Daddy. Just jokes. I don't think they know about the bonus hour. I mean, they know I'm up to something until 7 o'clock. I don't recall telling them about the bonus hour. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not. Just like I've never told them that you can listen to this show by going to WBLS.com. Oh. I don't like them in my life like that. Because what I do on the radio, it becomes something other than what they're used to their little girl being. I don't mind them assuming anything, and there's a lot to assume.
They want to support.
I understand that, but their best way of supporting me is to be as normal as possible and to treat me normally. Don't treat me like the toe is a toe queen. Oh. You know what I'm saying? Don't treat me like implant girl. Don't treat me like, drop it like it's hot, MILF, nothing like that. Just treat me like you always do. Because that's basically what I'm used to. I know they like to support, but the best way of supporting is, help me hold down family, ways. So they don't know about this hour of truth. I don't talk like this around my parents. I'm a grown woman. I pay my own bills. Uh-oh. They've never seen me, I don't believe, actually put a glass of alcohol up to my lips. I have popped bottles with my parents in the house during holidays and stuff like that. They've seen me put in my glass, but they've never seen me turn it to my lips. Now, they've never seen me. They've never heard me say a 4-letter word.
And they shouldn't.
And they shouldn't. Even though I pay my own damn bills.
I don't get the drink thing, though. You always say that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I always say that, but it's true. And it's for nothing other than, you know what? Why do they need to see me drink? I mean, why do they need me to actually? They know what I do. They listen to the show, much to my shadam grin. I mean, they know I have sex.
Oh,
obviously.
They know I've had sex in public places.
Oh.
Well, they listen to the show. They know about the date rape, much to my chagrin, because they read my damn book. I asked them not to. They know about the cheatation. You know, I asked them to just stay the hell, just.
You had to know they were going to read the book, though.
I told them it's a book about my life. Please don't read the book.
That made them want to read it more.
Well, I'm sure it did. And the funny thing is that they couldn't even wait until they left my house to start reading the book. Okay, everybody do this with me, right? You know when when you're sitting in bed, your pillows are propped up against the headboard and you're watching TV? You got the covers over your lap. Okay, now bend your legs at the knees, but keep the covers over your lap. You see the tent of privacy that is now developed? So if somebody walked in the room, they can't see what all is going on right here in your stomach area. My father had the book on the other side of the tent in the bend in his knees in the guest room where they sleep at our house. And he starts reading the book, and I came down to say something to him. My mother was already sleeping, and he's got the tent of privacy going on. Right. You know what I mean? The TV is off, so clearly he's so engrossed in something. I'm like, what are you doing? He said, nothing. I walked around, and he was reading, there he is reading. I got so upset. I wasn't even happy. I was upset. Why do they have to know that? Why does a father have to know that his little girl was violated by some R&B has-been? Why do they have to know, that their son-in-law, cheated? Why do they have to know? Why do they have to know any of that? What good does that serve? I told you all because I'm trying to create a brand, and you need to know more about the brand before you buy into it. Right. The brand that I'm trying to create is Queen of All Media. You know my shtick. I shared with you all because it's now time to purge. Why do they have to know that I've bought Coke on Jerome Avenue at 3 o'clock in the morning? Ooh. Why do they have to know that the holes in the screens of our windows in my old room in Wayside, the holes weren't there due to bugs eating it, but due to me cutting the screens with scissors so I had something to rest my ashes on? Because I was up to something. Why do they have to know that?
Curiosity.
Why is everybody in the room looking at me with judgment?
What do you mean by ashes, though? I don't think
What do you mean by cutting the screen? How
ashes.
with shearing scissors.
No, but what's ashes like? For ashes?
Yeah. That's what you rest your jums on before you take your pull. Oh. Yeah, no, I was a multi-offender in that category. When my nose started to bleed, I took it another way. I get smoke.
Wow, I'm learning.
I thought you meant,
No, and then you have your stem, then you twist up some screen and stuff it in the stem. Dave, you used to be an offender. You never stemmed it?
That's a whole new level there.
See? Why do my parents have to know that?
That's deep.
Exactly. And there were holes in the screen. Why do they have to know that? It makes me upset just to know that, why do they have to know that? Yeah. Oh, it's going to give me a tissue. I told you I'm not changing my makeup before the party.
Okay. Interns, get her a tissue. Come on.
I like this music. No, I'm okay. No, I'm okay. They're falling back in my ducts. Well, let me change it. I'm not going to wash my face and put on new makeup. I'll just pile more on. I'll do that on the plane. By the time I get to the party, everybody will be so laid out, nobody will be noticing any damn way. Yeah. And people down south, boy, they do know how to party. And then they barbecue in the parking lot afterwards. The food is scrumptious. So, how are we doing? What is everything? So, remember yesterday I was telling you about James Brown and I lost patience and I said I'll do it another time. That happens. And I always think, God willing, I'll be back to do another show. Every day is a blessing, isn't it? Truly. And when you get of a certain age, you wake up and you're looking for the first aches and pains. Do you? Like, oh, does anything hurt? I swear. I mean, and it starts young. As soon as you start hearing that your friends or people that you know having cancer, I remember a long time ago hearing about a 22-year-old girl who had breast cancer. And she lived. This was just an arbitrary news story. But, people catch a heart attack young and just all that arthritis. I have an acquaintance that has rheumatoid arthritis already. Lupus? The young girl from America's Next Top Model with the lupus? Somebody here at the radio has lupus also? No, I don't want to know who. I don't want to know who, because if it's by chance somebody that I might talk sideways to sometimes, as soon as I find out that somebody's a little sick, then I'll always talk to them with compassion. But if their work needs sideways talk, I want to be able to deliver. I don't want to know who has lupus that I work with, because I want to be able to talk pure. Good talk for people who do good work, and sideways talk for people who make me mad.
Well, you already talked to her nice. So.
I talked to her nice already?
Yeah, I ain't gonna tell you who though.
Pass me a note. Write it down. I'm not going to say it. Anyway, I just say all that. I'm so glad that I'm back here to. Yes, I know. I know. No, she shared that with me.
Another one had something else too. But...
Yeah. And that's a young girl too. That's a young girl under 30. She's got lupus. So I just thank God every day, and sometimes I do want to tell you all the stories at one time, but other times I just can't. And I say, I'll tell you tomorrow. And I might deliver it in a really greasy way. I'll tell you tomorrow. But in my head, I'm like, God willing, I'm able to be here tomorrow. And when I wake up in the morning, I'm always, all right, what hurts? Is everything okay? The lumpectomy. It's like within the first half hour of me being awake, I'm always feeling, touching, doing. I reach down and touch my toes. Make sure everything still stretches and stuff.
You play every game like it's your last.
Yeah. I do this with my fingers. Make sure, everything still, feels and stuff. I look in my eyes. Sometimes they say you can see sickness in the eyes. I get up to the mirror, look in my eyes. I'm a bit of a hypochondriac, but, Dr. Janine asked me if I wanted a skin biopsy. That's where they take a slice of your skin to see if a particular area is cancerous or whatever the hell. See, I don't want, she doesn't understand, because shout out to my dermatologist, Dr. Janine Downey in Montclair. She's more than a dermatologist. She is one of those super dermatologists. She does everything. She can test a patch of your skin for cancer. She can remove moles. She can give you Botox. And she can pop a zit, which is such a basic thing, that zit popping. I mean, a good dermatologist does all these. She doesn't understand, because this is, we're just getting to know each other. Don't ask a person like me, do I want something tested for cancer? Right. Because next thing you know, I'll be getting I'll come in here, I'll have Band-Aids every place. I'm getting patches removed, testing stuff for cancer. I'll be looking like a carved up mess. She doesn't understand what she's dealing with. Oh my God. So James Brown. Let me tell you this story, because God willing, we'll all be here on Monday, but I'm not holding any what, Art? I'm not leaving anything to chance. Yeah. Flying, that's a whole nother set of worries.
Yeah. I worry every time you fly. I wonder if I'm going to have a job on Monday. I pray for you.
All right, here we go. James Brown's got a new book out. It's called I Feel Good.
More original than that?
Well, he's got a fifth wife now, but his fourth wife died. Her name was Adrian. And the mother of Adrian, the fourth wife, who's 74, her name is Rita Fisher, read the book I Feel Good and says, it's not true the way James explained it. Adrian didn't die while under anesthesia from cosmetic surgery. She died from a drug overdose. Wait. Yeah. James is 71, And in his book, he says that Adrienne passed away at 45 while being operated on for her eyes, her lower lip, her arms, and her stomach. Rita says, wrong. She did not die under anesthesia. She was in so much pain that she took an overdose of Valium, Percocet, and Demerol. She was also taking a recreational favorite of hers called Gorilla. Oh, snap. You all ready for a new one?
What's that? What's that gorilla thing?
How's a 45-year-old woman taking something called Gorilla? Yeah. I mean, that's like, remember when they called the weed with the embalming fluid Love Boat? I was familiar with that, but I was 25. Wow. You know what I mean? It's like there comes a certain point in life where there's no room in your life for, drugs, period, but mostly drugs with crazy names. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Gorilla. Are you ready for what Gorilla is? Uh-oh. Because her mom even knew that it was her recreational favorite. Oh. See, I don't want my parents knowing that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Gorilla, and it's the weekend, so. Okay. Yeah, you do what you want. Is a mix of marijuana. Ooh. Okay. Green tea. And PCP. Hell no. Just say no.
What does green tea do?
I don't know. Cleanses you, I guess. As fast as you smoke it is as fast as it courses through your stomach. Damn, I'm getting the wrap up. I'm just getting into this. All right, well, I'm going to take this wrap up hard and fast. I got to get to the airport, you all. Look, I love you for listening. Stay away from drugs. I mean, really.
Especially Gorilla.
Especially Gorilla. And the stems. And the screens, and the ashes, and the chief. Although, as KRS-One once told me when I was on the air in Philly, when you all left me for dead, nothing wrong with a little self-medication. Oh, no. That's what he was talking about, the chief, though. Yeah. Just pure chief. Mm-hmm. Well, look, you all, be careful out there, okay? Pie. It's the weekend. And thanks for turning us on. Bonnie's next with The Quiet Storm on your station for today's R&B and Classic Souls, 107.5 WBLS.
The Wendy Williams broadcast day has completed.
Aw, man!
And WBLS music starts next.
Okay, party people, got a new spot for you to check out. Are you ready? Because this is what's going down tonight and every Friday night from now on. Moonlight Entertainment brings you Cherries and Ice at Club Etoile. Etoile is located on 109 East 56th Street between Park and Lexington Avenue in New York City. Doors open up at 10 p.m. Remember, Friday nights. Ladies, we're free before 12:30. Go party with all the sexy people in the tri-state area. Ladies, you know what to do. Fellas, put it on. The button-up shirts, the gators. It's grown and sexy. Again, that's tonight and every Friday night. The place to be is Club Etoile, 56th Street between Park and Lexington Avenue. Doors swing open at 10 p.m. and the party doesn't stop till 4 in the morning. And ladies, don't forget, we get in free before 12:30. Music's being done by DJ Kamish. For more information, call 212-368-9773 or visit moonlightnyc.com. This event is strictly for the grown and sexy.